Yep, it got my cough. We're all good. We are live. Good morning, everybody. This is our first Saturday class, and welcome to June. And kicking it off, I think everybody's is thrilled to have Pete Lozzi coming from Georgia, and it's always a great class when Pete shows up. He's going to go over virtual reality and artificial intelligence, and do it in the deep but very understandable way that Pete always seems to. And it's really a gift that he has, and we're really lucky to be able to participate in that. So without further ado, so we can get more of Pete Lozzi, go for it, Pete. Thank you. Welcome. Go right ahead.
Thank you. And as always, Ken, my pleasure to be here. Very humbling to be with this crowd of extremely smart folks who ask all the best questions. So I always get excited about the dialogue and back and forth we get to have in these sessions. Yes, as Ken teed up, today I would really like to walk through the state of VR, and this will not be of much interest to many of you. I realize that because VR is largely a gaming platform at this time. That's really where VR has cut its teeth on gaming. But as you'll see in a moment, it looks like all that's about to change. So I'd like to just show you what the state of the market is today and what kind of things are going on in VR. In fact, I've got the latest and greatest VR headset right here for you. I'm going to put it on and show you what I see by sharing what I see inside the VR headset. So you'll be able to check out a couple of experiences with me today in VR and exactly how that works, in anticipation for what could possibly be a huge sea change in VR as Apple gets ready to launch their VR offering, we think. Don't forget, my record is I'm wrong 100% of the time. So I may just be wrong about this, but I'm going to show you others who have chimed in and may set the record straight. And then I'd like to continue the discussion we had Tuesday of a couple weeks ago here for the general meeting, and that is around AI, artificial intelligence, and what it means to us today as end users, and what it means on a larger scale to our communities, to our industries, to our government. There's going to be a lot of ramifications to AI being accessible as it is today. But as always, I'm happy to start with some casual conversation or Q&A if anybody's got anything pressing they wanted to just start out with. We could have a little bit of dialogue first, or I'm always ready to dive in and just do my thing. Hey, Al, I see you joined there. Good to see you. Hello, everybody.
Randy had a couple questions. He
first and foremost,
email about.
Pete, I think first and foremost, remind people that Monday morning at 10 a.m. Is the keynote at Apple.
Yeah, that's something I wanted to walk through here. I'll share my screen. Hopefully everybody can see that. What I did was aggregated today. I pulled up every Apple rumor site that's, at least the top 8 popular ones. I've got 9 to 5 Mac Daily News, Apple Insider, The Verge. I've got Gizmodo, 6 Colors, Mac Rumors, and Macworld.com. The common thread among all of the website tabs you see here is as I click through each one of them is talking about Monday's WWDC keynote address. And the number one thing that people are highlighting about Apple's WWDC 23 keynote address on Monday is Reality Pro, or this VR offering you see here from Apple. Now, Apple has released nothing in the way of having a VR headset. Has not been a peep from them. However, all of the industry is speculating. So here's WWDC's 9 to 5 coverage here with the VR headset prominently displayed. Mac Daily News, the top, out of the top 10 articles, 1, 2, 3, there's many about the headset here. VR, here's another one down here, VR headset. Here's Apple Insider. WWDC's coming, Apple's AR headset, new Mac. It's at the top of everybody's headline here. Here's The Verge. If Apple wants its headset to win, it needs to reinvent the app. Here is Gizmodo. What to expect at WWDC. In the first paragraph, there is VR headset. 6 colors, your friend and mine, Jason Snell. He's got the headset mentioned right up here at the top of his WWDC coverage. Mac rumors, no different. Here they are with what you can expect. And new wearable, which is the headset that they're talking about. And finally, Macworld. There it is, WWDC. And in the first paragraph, or maybe the second, it is headset fever. So yes, as Ken said, Monday, for me, it's like Christmas. Every June, this WWDC is my favorite. And the reason for that is this is where they will likely, not likely, they will give a preview of iOS to come. So we'll see iOS, which is the operating system for our phones and iPads. And then we'll see macOS, which is, El Capitan, that series there. We'll see watchOS.
I'm voting it'll be Modesto.
Fresno. Yeah. Modesto or Fresno must be the next. So we'll see a Mac OS update. We'll see watchOS. We'll see tvOS get updated with new features. And who knows, maybe a new headset OS remains to be seen. So the consensus seems to be that on Monday, the world will be introduced to Apple's offering into VR. Well, let's unpack what VR is. Unless I think Randy, I think I heard you had a couple questions before we got started, and then we sort of switched to the keynote topic. But let me check back in with you there.
Sure, thanks, Pete. No, your presentation sounds much more interesting than my little mediocre questions. And I think Al, if he has access to them, or Zoom user Al, excuse me, could just maybe put links in. It would cover everything. It's just the 3 topics, and I'll just name them. I'm not going to read the whole question, but just I had an email that my photo stream will shut down on July 26th. Anything that any MacNexus members need to be concerned with multiple devices. Second thing was just screen mirroring on Apple TV. I'm using screen mirroring from an iPhone through Apple TV to show on my Sony Bravia. But Sony Bravia, I've set 5 hours so it doesn't time out, but I really think the Apple TV is timing out just on stationary photos that I just, scroll through, and it times out after 10, 15 minutes. And then on Chrome, just something fun to know and learn, which I could have Googled myself, but I thought maybe some other members may not know. Predictive text, when you're in Google Chrome doing an email, it presents options that are the actual words I was trying to type. I just need to know the trigger, the key code sequence, or what I need to do. I've tried return, command, and options, and space bar. Nothing populates what the predictive text is. So that's it. I'm out of here. Do the presentation. Maybe Al can send links for everybody's benefit. Thanks.
Excellent. You always have great questions, Randy. Thank you very much. Here's what let's do. I think after VR presentation, we'll wind down. We'll do a little bit of Q&A. Al, I think he's already got links going in the chat. So I like those 3 topics, and one of them is real easy, 2 maybe more complex. But yeah, as we pause at the break, let's dig into those.
I think we need to call him Link Master Al.
Link Master Al, yeah, he's like a automatic weapon of links being fired into the chat. Okay, so VR. Anybody have any familiarity with VR? Have you been interested at all? Have you tried it? Anything like that? Did you? Probably a little, I used to bring my VR headset to the meetings when they were live so people could put it on and get an experience, a roller coaster or something like that. It's very interesting. I think Donna, you might have been saying you're muted, but still on mute
Pete,
there. Uh-huh.
Pete, initially there was all this talk about nausea and things like that. Is that still an issue? And is that people getting used to the VR, or is the VR evolved that that's not an issue as much anymore?
Yeah, that's a great question. There are psychosomatic effects to seeing something that looks real, but it isn't. So your body is preparing itself for either a vigorous roller coaster ride or a threat in front of you. Maybe there's something threatening that your brain is going, this is bad. You are nervous. There's a visceral reaction that takes place in VR. In a moment, I'm going to show you a few experiences in my own VR headset here that will connect you with what I mean by that. There are just my own personal experience. I was once in my basement at 2 a.m. preparing for a big meeting the next day where VR was going to be a part of it. I was setting up a VR demo. And I tried a bunch of new experiences. And one of them was called Ocean Rift. And I put my headset on. It was in my garage, very dark. It was very quiet. I put my headset on. I was then underwater in a shark tank, and a massive great white shark swam up to the shark tank. I, of a middle-aged man, in a panic, ripped the headset off my head out of fear because there was a great white shark with its mouth open coming at me. It was almost involuntary. I was nervous, and then it was as if I was plunged into a whole new location. When you whip this headset off, you're surrounded by the environment that you were just in. It's uncanny. It's an amazing experience. However, there are people like my wife who will not put on the VR headset. She said that it's upsetting to her. It makes her feel nauseous, and it's just disorienting. I respect that. Everybody's different. My wife is also a person who won't wear earplugs because she says it hurts her ears. This is just to calibrate you on her sensitivity, right? I wear earplugs even though they hurt my ears. Why? Because the utility of blocking out the sound. I don't want the sound. So there may be some discomfort associated with headset use. For me, I just fought through it. I got used to it. Some people don't experience it at all. Some people only experience discomfort in certain experiences. So if you're doing something like a roller coaster, or if you're doing something that is disorienting, then there are people who react to that adversely. However, don't let any of that stop you from confidently putting on one of these things and just being present for the experience if you get the opportunity. It is very different from anything you've ever experienced before. So if you just lean into that and try to have some fun on your first time, regardless of the fact that you will feel disoriented, possibly, it will feel immersive. It will feel as though you're there. So please try it if you get an opportunity. It is a remarkable experience. However, I don't know that it's ready for everyone for the reasons we just talked about. Let me share my screen here to show you a little bit about where the current state of the market is for VR today. You just saw all of the Mac rumor sites talking about Apple releasing their own version of this. Let's see who the king is today. The king of VR headsets today is Facebook. They bought a company called Oculus. Okay, Oculus used to be the big startup in VR. They were the ones with the gaming chops. They were the ones with the hardware chops. They were a really cool company, Oculus. Oculus sold to Facebook. So Facebook acquired Oculus, and then Facebook changed their name, right? Facebook is not a company anymore, right? It's Meta. Meta is the name of Facebook now. Because people have so much brand familiarity with Facebook, you still see the Facebook logo. But Mark Zuckerberg hates it. He doesn't want it around anymore. He wants the whole world to be called Meta. So Facebook is now Meta. Facebook owns Oculus, which got swallowed up into this Meta conversion. So Meta, the company that used to be Facebook, is now Facebook and Oculus smashed into one. Here's their webpage that highlights their product called the Meta Quest. The Meta Quest is today's best consumer end headset available. Consumer, I say. because there are some pro versions. But I'll stop my share for a moment. I'm just going to highlight this to just take a quick look at the hardware. I'll spotlight myself here. This is the headset here, and it's obviously got a big front, which houses the screen and the brains here. It's got an adjustable head strap, which ratchets to accommodate your head size. And it's got an extended battery here. This back part is a battery because you can use it wirelessly if you want to. So battery on the back here. This is the headset and it goes on your head. I'll put it on in a moment, but it also includes these two handheld devices. These devices here conform to your hand, and these devices inform the headset of what your hands are doing, both their location in space and the tactile contact. If you pull a trigger, it knows because there is a trigger button here. If you squeeze something, it knows because there is a squeeze button. So in VR, if I want to go pick something up, I reach for it and I squeeze it. I squeeze it to pick it up using the button on the handle here. Once I have it in my hands, it will render as though I'm holding it and move around wherever I tell it to go. If I'm holding a weapon, which in gaming, there's lots of weapons, I can use the trigger to pull the trigger on a virtual gun, let's say. I can also use these as flight sticks or basically anything else that I'm imagining in a virtual world. These both just take a battery and they connect wirelessly to the headset. We'll get into that more in a moment. So back to the state of things today, here is Meta's website, and for about $400, you can get one of these gadgets here. Like I showed you, it comes with the two handheld controllers and the headset itself. The real king of VR, though, is content. Content is the king. Lots of companies can put together very slick hardware, but content is what matters. Who's going to have the content? It's kind of like the battle you see waging today between Hulu, Netflix, Apple TV Plus, original content. They all want your dollars or your eyes to make dollars from advertisers. They all want that. So the content is king, whoever has the best content. So they're all trying to generate compelling content. Meta, they have all the money in the world. There's an unlimited supply of cash. So they are trying to scoop up all the VR developers so they can own all the best content. Now, if it is true what they're saying about Apple, that they will release a VR headset on Monday, then gosh, they must be ready. They must be ready with elite hardware that far surpasses anything that's available today. And they must be ready with a bank of VR developers who have created tons of experiences for the user, because I doubt Apple would come to market with little or nothing to offer a new user. One of the rumors, as a matter of fact, I'll take your question in a moment, but one of the rumors, as a matter of fact, is that Apple's headset will come with a library of concerts filmed in VR where you can sit, watch the concert on the headset and change your seat to various seats around the stadium, as well as on stage to look closely at the performers. That would be a very cool, compelling thing for them to offer as their inaugural launch of the thing, but nobody knows for sure. We'll find out on Monday. And I'm sorry, I think somebody was going to say something.
Yeah, Pete, I have a question about the content. Obviously, there's probably ad-supported type. I mean, is it like gaming where you're paying for the games and the games are sometimes very expensive, and obviously there's free content from a commercial end. How you explain that content part, please?
Yes, indeed. As a matter of fact, I'll show you. I have now opened the Oculus, or now it's Meta. And folks, this is ridiculously confusing because if you look in the upper left corner of my window, that little O is the Oculus logo. However, Oculus is owned by Facebook, which is now Meta. You see where this is all very confusing. However, if you're going to remember anything about the conglomeration of companies behind today's VR, just remember that it's Meta, and Meta owns Facebook and they own Oculus. They basically own all VR right now as Meta. Apple's going to try to break that on Monday, so we hear. Now, I want to show you the store. Here's the store. This is the MetaQuest store, and this is where you purchase experiences for your VR. As you can see in this store, just without even clicking, just going to the storefront itself, VR is heavily weighted around gamers, right? All we see here is gaming so far, and we just opened this. So let me just, there's traffic in the house. So let me scroll down a little bit here, and you can see that these are mostly gaming experiences. I see chess, I see racing, I see football, I see The Walking Dead, I see Doctor Who, and lots of experiences like that. What do you call it? Commercial applications are very few and far between at this time. However, there are some experiences you can get. One's called Big Screen, which allows you to see your computer screen in VR, make it as big as you want, use a virtual keyboard. Now, take a look at some of the pricing here. This first game called Demio is a very big AAA title. This is from a company that is considered huge in the space. They're charging $40 for the game. It happens to be on sale today, so it's $25.99. Duck Season, this is one I've had my eye on. This looks like a fun one. It's $20 though, and I don't buy a lot of $20 games. It's just too expensive. And so you can see the prices in the lower left corner of each game. They vary. Here's $30 for Breachers, just depending on how much time and energy the developers put into the title. You'll get all different sorts of pricing. Here's a $40 game here. Some of them are $60 and $70, depending on the license. Like one of them had an Iron Man license. You could imagine how much they can fetch for that. I think it was about $60. So you see, here is where you purchase the content for your headset. Now, my hope is that when Apple does it, or if Apple does it, they make a better experience than this. This is like a website. It's not. If you're going to be in a VR headset, wouldn't you want a cooler experience for purchasing? So this is the offerings today at various prices, and as you can see, it's heavily geared towards gaming right now.
Are they specific for one? Is that a license for one device or family license? How does that usually work?
Oh yes, just like software, your license is valid for you signed into the device. So I actually have 4 headsets. I've bought each generation. So I have the first, second, third, and fourth generation, and each of them is logged in with my account, and then that account has access to the titles I've purchased. However, you can't share them with friends and family or anything like that. They have to purchase their own copy. Even if you want to play with them. My daughter lives in California. Sometimes we want to put on the headset. You can even put on the headset, go into a movie theater, a virtual movie theater, sit next to a friend or family member. My daughter's in California. I'm in Georgia. We can sit next to each other and watch a movie on the big screen, all the while looking over at each other. Now, I'm seeing an avatar. You don't actually see the person sitting there because there is no camera on me in VR. It's just sensors. So as I look over at my daughter and we're conversing, her body language and movements are her own, but they're mapped onto an avatar. The avatar may or may not look like her depending on what she chooses. So we're sitting watching Netflix on a big screen in a theater together side by side, but we're in different states. That is an amazing experience. It is really fun. It's something I've never done before. It's very interesting. It's not super practical, though. These headsets aren't comfortable, especially after extended use. With glasses, it gets a little bit uncomfortable. They do accommodate your glasses with a spacer, so you'll see in a moment, I'll put my headset on, it goes right over my glasses. But for long periods, it's not a lot of fun. Do you think Apple solved that? I don't know. I think they would before they release something, though, if I know their track record. Usually they have a lot of the issues solved that plague the market today, right? In today's market, there are a lot of issues. The thing is heavy. It gets hot in there because the CPU runs very hot. So hopefully they've solved those problems. Now, let me slow down here and pause. I'm happy to take Q&A for a little bit, but then what I'd like to do is put on my headset and share my view with you. So you can just take a look inside at what you see when you strap one of these things on. Warning, as I move my head around, the screen will then move to accommodate where I'm looking. This is going to get a little bit, there's a lot of motion. So please either minimize my window if it's starting to bug you or look away. I'm going to do my best to stay mostly still and not do a bunch of fast moving, but to show you the real experience, there may be a little bit. So disclaimer there. But yeah, let's slow it up here, and happy to talk about the state of the market today, Meta Quest's current offerings, which I have here, and then possibly what Apple might be offering as well. While people are thinking about maybe they want to ask their question or come off mute, please do if you'd like. I wanted to add one layer to this. Hopefully you've digested the VR, right? In your mind, you're good, right? You understand that VR is a headset that you put on, and it is an immersive experience inside what you see in this binocular here. However, AR, which is augmented reality, is different than VR, which is virtual reality. In VR, somebody else has created an environment for you. It's a programmer, a developer, like myself. I've created a few 3D environments. They're simply creating an environment and then putting you in it with a headset. So as you look around, you're looking at what this developer has created as an environment. Could be a snow cave, could be under the sea, could be you're battling dragons, whatever it is, a developer developed your surroundings for you. That's VR, virtual reality. A developer developed the surroundings virtually. But there's also AR, which is augmented reality. And AR is very, very different than VR, where VR are experiences and environments that were created by artists and developers. AR is not. AR is what you see through your glasses, reality. Right now, I see the R, reality. As I look around, I'm seeing reality. Augmented reality means I would see simply an overlay, not a new screen at all, but just an overlay. And that overlay would have data that might interest me. So for instance, if I'm a tourist and I'm walking around Rome and I look at a bakery, that is reality. I can see that through my spectacles. That is reality. Augmenting that with augmented reality would mean a readout might appear in my view, and it might tell me what the rating of that bakery is on Yelp. It might show me the menu for that bakery, or it might flash up the phone number there and say, would you like to call the bakery? All done through a pair of glasses like these with electronics built in to overlay information over what I'm actually seeing. That's augmented reality. It differs from virtual reality in that virtual reality is an immersive experience designed by somebody else for the purpose of gaming or education. Augmented reality is you walking around with your regular eyesight like you do every day, however, having access to a rich panel of information that's connected to the internet that can fetch you data as you need it. For instance, if you are that tourist in Rome walking around, wouldn't you like it if your spectacles that allowed you to see the world also had an overlay of where to go next, right? Make a right turn at the next corner to get to your destination, and it's guiding you without you having to look at your watch or your phone. This is where I think Apple's interests probably are. I don't know if it is full virtual reality like we see here, because that's a tough struggle. It's mostly gamers. You have to compete for the developers because there are only a few of them and you want the good developers. I am betting, and I'm wrong 100% of the time, so don't write this down, but I am betting that Apple's offering is going to lean more heavily towards augmented reality, not virtual reality. Apple's not going to call up a bunch of developers and artists to create virtual scenes for you. I believe they're going to take the real world and figure out a way to overlay important information for you to see when you want it. Now, this will probably come in the form of a pair of frames that has all this technology built in that you go get your prescription glasses put in there. And then when you put these frames on, you have your prescription, but with a video screen built in there that you can access perhaps with voice. This is my prediction, is that will be more likely what Apple is likely to offer on Monday than a gaming rig. Because is Apple even known for gaming rigs? Do they have any gaming specific hardware? Their regular hardware doesn't even do games very well, except for iOS, like Apple Arcade, small bite-sized things, not AAA titles like you might find here. So I don't know. We'll find out Monday, and let's see if I can keep my record of being wrong 100% of the time. So were there anybody who wants to come and join the discussion briefly before I get in that headset and show you some experiences?
So what you'll be displaying would be essentially like people at home could hook it to their TV so other people can see what's going on. Is that how you're displaying it today?
Yeah, great question. What you'll be seeing is me. The term is called casting. I'm casting my view that I see in the headset to a device. I happen to be casting today using a wire. And the reason I'm casting with a wire today is for reliability purposes. However, I could disconnect this wire and cast wirelessly for the example like Ken said. If you have somebody putting on a VR headset and experiencing something, you kind of want to experience it with them. Like, what do you see? What are you doing? Why are you reacting that way? What is going on? So this will allow you to cast to various devices so others can share your experience. So for instance, if you're standing in the living room doing an experience, you can say, hey, watch what I'm watching on the TV there. And so others can gather around, see what you're seeing. As a matter of fact, there is a game that is incredible. It's a two-part game where one person is in the headset and the other one is using a printed PDF to give that person instructions. And they're saying there should be a blue wire. Do you see a blue wire? And the person in the headset is frantically searching for the blue wire. And you, as the caller, are calling out the instructions. But there are timers happening. It's very stressful, but it's a lot of fun because one person only has a piece of paper. The other one has all the tools inside the VR, and you're trying to accomplish a mission. It's a blast.
Like defusing a bomb, right?
Exactly. That's what, yeah, it's called, I think the game is called I Want You to Die. And it's like morbid, but you're trying to defuse the bomb as and you have somebody instructing you. There are escape rooms in VR. There are escape rooms that are so complex, I can't solve them. They're very difficult, where you walk around these big places and you take pieces of a clue from one side and put it on another. There are some remarkable experiences. So I'm excited. I hope Apple does offer something on Monday. My credit card is ready. I will purchase it, and I can't wait to see how they differentiate themselves from the others who are in the market today.
You have one hand up.
Yeah.
Yes, go ahead and come off mute and let's talk.
Georgiana, go ahead.
Yeah, it's Georgiana, but George is a lot easier to say. So my experience has been with simulators, real world simulators.
Oh, yes.
Flights, submarines, spaceships, helicopters, that kind of stuff, deploying sensors. I've never thought too much about the VR aspect of it to me, because again, as you say, it's been kind of gaming kind of thing. But I have to say, in the latter years of my career, when I was instructing military folk about certain things, speaking of diffusing bombs, things like that, it was interesting to me that because these were all younger people, they were not, they were all, fresh-faced, etc., because they had all this, what was then gaming experience, 10 years ago. They took to it really fast, rather than I'll say the old codgers, the colonels and stuff that were 45 plus, which I found very, very interesting. So I'll be looking at the psychological, psychoneuralistic kind of a thing, neuron stuff over the next few years. It'll be interesting to see how that works. But again, I kind of veer toward augmented reality, because they're already doing that with movies. They've been doing that for years. And they're now even it's gotten so inexpensive, they're even doing it on the Discovery Science shows, where they show Sir David Attenborough walking next to a dinosaur, and he's pointing out the various parts of the dinosaur, etc. So it'll be interesting to see how they go with that. That's all.
I love it. Thank you. I'm always glad when you contribute. Thank you for that. Yeah, augmented reality has been around in many, many different iterations over the years. And I think companies have been really trying to figure out how to make a killer application for augmented reality. I don't know if you remember this, but Yelp used to have augmented reality built in. It was called Monocle. It was called Monocle. And when you turned your phone landscape and pointed it at a business, it would show you an overlay of that business's stats, like the reviews and this type of thing. That's an example of augmented reality where you're actually seeing through the lens of your phone reality, but then overlays of different information. I think it's very useful, but nobody's really seemed to be able to crack the right way to tee it up. And if anybody can do it, it's probably Apple.
IKEA does it where you picture in your room the different pieces of furniture. But, you know, for a long time, that's what people have said, because Apple embarked on that almost a decade ago. And everybody was saying it was the precursor to go to this. And it's been there, but it's just not been a real pet project. It doesn't seem so. Hopefully stuff was going on behind the scenes.
Yeah, I'm so excited. Monday can't come fast enough. So if there are no more hands, I'll get in this VR thing and just show you some of the experiences. I repeat, it's sort of like a camera off of a tripod. It's because it's going to be on my head. I'm going to do my best to not wave all over the place. However, I am going to look around to show you what I'm seeing. And so again, please hide the window if it's disorienting. But it is a virtual reality. So let's do our best here.
Pete,
Okay,
if I can make a suggestion. You know, when we did this pre-show, when I had you go full screen, it might be better to not be full screen. I think your size originally was a little better.
Okay. All right, heard. Let's see.
Because it was a little overwhelming.
Okay, so what I'll do here is, as you can see, I've cranked the headset away from the goggle so I can get it over my glasses. So I've sort of cranked it up out of the way, and I'm going to just set it right over my glasses here like this. And then I'm just going to tighten this little thing in the back here. Okay, now I will be casting in a moment. So all you probably see right now is a goofy middle-aged man with a white thing strapped to his face in your screen. But here we go. I am going inside my VR headset here. I am going to choose an experience. Let's see, do I have this linked? Let me make sure linked. Yes, okay. LinkedIn.
Nothing yet.
Okay. Enable. Okay. There we go. And now the first experience I'm going to share with you is just a delightful gaming experience. Now, I haven't shared it yet. It'll pop up on the screen in a moment. It's a very delightful gaming experience, but I'm just going to start very lightweight. And the reason I chose this title is it's a great example of VR's capability as opposed to normal computer, 2D. What I'd like to show you, if you don't already have your attention on me,
we're not seeing what you're casting.
No, not yet. I haven't cast yet.
Okay.
I just want you look at me.
So this is virtual reality, but does it in fact have a camera so you can do augmented reality with it?
Yeah, as you'll see here in the camera, let me make sure I'm centered. I'll look through here like, oh yeah, as you see here, there are some sensors around the thing here.
Okay.
These are cameras. However, they're very low resolution cameras. They're meant for depth. So as I move my head back and forth, I'm staying stationary because these cameras are giving depth information. Okay, so I'm going to launch this delightful little tale. It's called Lucky's Tale. It's just an example for you to see how simple gaming can be elevated by VR. So let me launch that, and it's probably going to render for you here in a moment. I'm going to see if I can peek at my screen through these goggles and make sure you're getting that render. I see you right there. Okay. This is the window. And this particular experience won't get any larger than this, I don't think. No, this one stays small. Do you all see the little window there? This is Lucky's Tale.
No window, just you.
Oh, I'm not sharing my screen yet, or I thought I was.
Doesn't appear to be.
All right, let me share my screen. Sorry, this looks weird. I'm peeking down the bottom so I can see.
Well, you're still sharing. Yeah, so your full screen. There you
Here we
go.
go. There we go.
Yes, we have it. And if people want to look at Pete, you have to look in your little Zoom window. Perfect, Pete. Thank you.
All righty. Yeah, what you should see now is something called Lucky's Tail.
And it's fairly small.
Yeah, that window can't get any bigger for this experience.
Okay.
In the next experience, the window will get much larger, but for whatever reason, this one is limited. The first thing I want to show you is that this appears to be an ordinary video game. However, I can look anywhere I want. I can look behind me and up in the sky, and all around me there is content. Behind me, there's a cool windmill. And over here, I see lots of things. Now, my character, his name is Lucky. And he's this little fox down here. You see that fox?
Yeah.
Now, if I lean in and say hello to Lucky, hey, Lucky. Hey, see if I can poke him. Hey, there's my hands. You see my hands? I'm holding those controllers and it's showing me what they all do here. So let's press A and just play a moment here of Lucky's tail. Push the button. It seems extremely choppy to me. Let me see if I can do something to fix that. Hold on 1 second. Something is a little stuff here. Wait, is it okay? See when you're locked back in. I just want to make sure I'm not really low frame rate here. Okay. All right, let me go back to that and see if that's if that app is the problem. I'll just simply move on to another one. Launch it here. Should still be sharing my screen.
And is the computer that's driving this inside the Oculus, or is it driven by another computer?
That's another great question, is that the computer, there's two versions of the headset. One is standalone, where you don't need a computer to run it, and the other one is dependent on a computer. The one I'm using now happens to be standalone. It doesn't need to rely on a computer. Okay, there we go. I'm just going to start this mission here. And I just wanted you to see this. Here I am in Act 1 of the mission. It's just remarkable to me to be able to look around in this little miniature room. I see the detail of all of these things around me. I can look in as I lean. If you're looking at my camera, you can see me leaning in to look at all these various things around me. And as a matter of fact, I can interact with them too. So here, let's see. I'm going to start the game. And there's my character named Lucky. He's saying hello to me. And he's saying, let's go. I'm going to lean in and say hello to Lucky. Hey, how you doing, Lucky? You good? You ready to go? All right, let's go. And I'm controlling Lucky right now. He's just sort of jumping around. I'm using the controller to control him. But as I was saying, yes, it's fun moving him around, but take a look as I look around me. Everywhere is populated with cool content. You could miss so much if you don't take the time to look around. Now, I'm on a mission here. I'm trying to control this fox to get up in these hills up here and stuff. So that's what I would do, is just simply run around with this little character here and do these little missions. So I wanted to start with something very lightweight, a little bit of surprise and delight in here, and just show you how immersive this type of thing can be. Again, I'm looking around here. Lucky just went into a little hole. So in this sub-level, take a look at this sub-level. Again, I can lean in. Hey, how you doing, Lucky? Good to see you. I can watch. I'm going to bump my face against these boxes. Look, see as I move in. Now, if there was an interruption or something around me that was urgent, watch me double tap my headset and look what I see. I see my surroundings now. I don't know if that's rendering for you.
It's not.
Okay. It's called pass-through, and those cameras that are on the front will allow me to see my surroundings if I use pass-through. I'm going to quit Lucky Tail, but that was just a moment for you to see how gaming can evolve, especially cute games like that. One my kids love to play. Let me take you on a second experience that is a little bit more interesting, I believe. It's called Ocean Rift. And it should be loading now. I'm going to optimize the window size so it's a good size. Let me see. It's probably full screen right now, right?
Yes, it is.
All right, I'll leave it there for a minute unless somebody advises me to shrink it. Now in Ocean Rift, I've started this experience and you can see I have a little menu in front of me. There's my hands. You can see my hands in VR controlled by these. You know, if you look at my camera and my share at the same time, you can sort of see the way this is all working together, my hands inside. And there's the menu. So it says press B for menu. And now look at this. I'm surrounded by a carousel of choices. Look, I can look around and decide what experience I would like. I think I'm going to choose dolphins. They seem harmless enough. So I'm going to reach out and touch the dolphins box. And let's see where that gets us. Okay, I appear to be underwater and I appear to be swimming with dolphins. I'm looking down and then with the press of a button, I can trigger an interaction here. I can make a little ring appear for them to play with. So here, let me try that. Let's see. And another thing I wanted to show you too is I'm looking at my hand right now. You'll see I have a little propeller on my hand. You see that propeller? Wherever I point that is where I'll go in this ocean. So I'm going to point it upward and see I'm looking up here at the water's surface. And as I'm swimming upward with my little propeller here, I am getting close to coming in contact with some dolphins here. Watching them swim through the hoop and earn a little prize. It's very peaceful, this dolphin experience. I'm listening to the sounds of being underwater, scuba gear. It's very soothing. But let's mix it up a bit and see what the great white shark has to offer. I'm going to select great white shark here. And it's not quite as safe as a dolphin experience. That's the cage. And I'm just going to sheepishly look around here in hopes that the great white just isn't home today. But unfortunately, he always seems to make an appearance. I don't see him. So maybe the great white is busy. Okay, maybe he's not busy. Hello. I am in a cage and you cannot get me. You can see as I move my body, I can look around and even creep over the edge of the cage here so I can see him more clearly. In fact, I can use those little swimmer handles to swim closer to the edge of the cage. Oh, I do not want to leave the cage, however. And oh, there's a fish. Can I grab him? Oh, okay, there's the great white. He's behind me, so I'm turned around now, and he does not look happy. Okay, all right. It's a great white shark. Okay. Ocean Rift is what this experience is called. This was a free experience, so people who own a VR headset can download this experience for free. I'm going to leave Ocean Rift, just a couple more to show you. We'll quit that app. This one is one of my favorites. It's just so soothing. It's called Air Car. And Air Car is just a futuristic cityscape with a flying car, which we were promised, right? We were promised flying cars and we never got them. So with this experience, it's so peaceful to me. I absolutely love it. Here's how it works. I'm just going to be in the cockpit of my air car. You'll see that render here in a moment. Hey, there I am. I'm in the cockpit of my air car, as you can see. And it's all around me, little lights back there. And so I'm just going to take this car for a spin around the city. Here we go. I'm using my hands to control this car as we're flying around in the air. What I love about this game is there's no enemies. You just, well, your enemy is collisions, so don't collide with anything, but I can peacefully just cruise around this little cityscape in my air car. Everywhere I look, notice I'm looking over the edge of my windows here. I'm looking up through my cockpit, looking through the other side. Ooh, okay. As I move my body, you can see that we're having this extraordinary experience. Now, I'm feeling I have goosebumps right now. I'm feeling very disoriented because it feels like I'm hovering above the cityscape. I'm flying in this air car. My body is reacting as if I'm doing these turns and these G-force moves and stuff. It's a visceral reaction. It's oh boy, it's quite amazing. Woo! It's quite amazing to experience this. We can pretty much cruise around this whole island. There's little landing pads and stuff that you can use, but really, I'm not trying to sell you this particular experience, but just how extraordinary it is to feel as though I'm in control of a flying car around a detailed cityscape such as this. Here's a main road over here. Let's go have a look at what people are up to in this main road here. Ooh, a little bit of traffic. Let's speed up a little bit and make a run through here. So again, here is what the state of the market seems to be today is extraordinary immersive experiences like this one. Woo, that was a close one. Let's get up out of here. Wow. Absolute blast. Just a kind of freedom and experience and feeling that is unmatched unless you have an opportunity to actually fly a vehicle like this. Absolutely extraordinary. Okay, that was another one. Let me quit this app here. Another experience. Let me just check in. Everybody still with me?
Yeah, and I have a question because the gaming thing is great and it's, but are there any productivity application of VR?
Not really. See, that's the problem is productivity is an afterthought. I do have an app here called Big Screen. And in that app, you can put your computer screen in front of you in VR, which is useful, but having this hot, tight VR headset wrapped around my head doesn't lend itself to hours worth of work. It's like maybe 30 minutes and then I pull it off. I want to share a couple more experiences, then I'll wrap it up here because it's not that I'm trying to show you a bunch of different gaming titles, but what I do want to show you is the breadth and depth of different experiences that are available here. So the next one I wanted to show you, I'll probably show you three more.
A question.
Yes,
Before
yes.
you leave the car, this is Bev. The casting as you were moving around the city was kind of jerky. Was your experience smooth?
My experience was 60 frames per second, almost like real life. I think that's the reason it's so immersive is because as you look around, there's no evidence that technology is driving your experience. It just feels like a natural experience. So yes, I do apologize that the translation through to you is going to be a little less premium, less feeling, but
well, and some of that's also lost in the Zoom interface too. But but we could tell by your reactions, Pete, that it was this.
Yeah. Speaking of, here's one called Face Your Fears. This is quite interesting in my opinion. Let me see if it renders for you. If it doesn't, I'll shut it off. Some titles don't render. Oh yeah, this one looks like it's rendering full screen, right? With this one, you choose a fear. There's two different fears to choose from. I'm going to choose this fear right here. And this is for people with a fear of heights. It says we recommend you stand. I'll just stay seated. Now in this, there's very little for me to do to interact. It's just me spectating, really. It's an experience that is meant for people who are afraid of heights. So here I am in some hotel room, just enjoying my stay. Aha, there seems to be a conflict afoot. I don't know what's happening over there, but there is indeed some conflict. And now an explosion has occurred. And oh my goodness, I'm looking down over the edge. This is some sort of massive robot who is going to grab me, I suppose. Okay. And then lift me up over this city that I'm looking down. Oh, you're going to scan me, huh? All right. Am I good or bad? Okay, this robot is carrying me over the city. It is very frightening to be. I'm sweating, actually. I'm sweating. I'm looking down and around the cityscape as this robot has set me on top of a tower. So if you are afraid of heights, being where I am right now is extremely uncomfortable. And I am afraid of heights. Okay, robot, what are you doing now? You're destroying other buildings. And so this experience, quite visceral. My palms are sweating. My heart rate is up because I feel like I'm standing on a top of a building and there's a battle going on. Oh, and the tower is leaning. It's breaking. The tower is breaking. Hey, robot, will you come grab this tower? Okay. Okay. Uh-oh. Hey, did you forget about me, robot? Oh, God. Okay, I have to stop because my palms are sweaty and I'm nervous because the fear of heights that I have is affecting me that way. Okay, let me see if I can do one more experience that is not gaming related. And I did have one for you that I really love. Just one last one. I think it's just amazing what kind of things this app makes accessible to people. Let me see, is it ready yet? Oh, it's dead. It's almost done downloading. Now, does anybody have any ideas about if Apple does release a headset like this? What's the content going to be? What are they doing? What are they offering us? What will we be doing in here?
Well, I mean, they're embarking on movies and TV shows and everything now. Can you imagine being part of a TV show?
While I'm letting this experience load, I would like somebody to prepare their childhood home address, your childhood home address, where you grew up as a child. And I'm going to ask you for that in a moment. So if you know it and you would like to volunteer that for this demonstration, then please do. I would love to demonstrate to you some of the power of VR and geography.
I can volunteer.
Excellent. I will ask you for that in just a moment. It's just finishing the installation now. It should be showing up for me to launch.
If first doesn't work, I'll be number 2 in line.
Excellent. Hey, let's do a few. Let's have some fun. It's Saturday. We're hanging out.
That could be number 3. This is Bev.
Love it. Love it. Where is my app? Why is it not showing itself to me? Sorry, I'll be right with you. This is all very complex to pull off, even if you're not on Zoom. So being on Zoom has been somewhat challenging, but okay, here we go. I'm going to launch the experience now, and hopefully it will render for you in a window. Let's see.
We're seeing a Google Earth window.
Excellent. Oh, no, don't tell me.
Oh,
Oh, yes, you see it. Yes, you see Google Earth.
yeah, we see it, but it's a small window.
Okay, let me see if I can make it larger. I don't think I can. Shoot, I can't even move it. Okay, well, you can all see my little window, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Look at this, you guys. I am hovering above the earth. Now, let's see what kind of things are possible here. Here I am hovering above the earth. And I can look at this globe in my hand. Here, let me skip the intro. So here we are on the earth. Oh, well, there's the earth. Let me see, I don't need the learning, so let's skip that. Skip. Okay. All right, so what I'm going to do is I can move this globe anywhere I want. So let's just move this globe somewhere. And as we get closer to the globe, here, let me find just North America. I'm moving this globe around with my hands. It's as if I'm in space, grabbing the earth and moving it. It is a remarkable experience just on the level of scale.
We'll call you Charles Atlas.
Yeah, look at this. Look at this. Amazing. Okay, here, this should be North America-ish, right about here, I think. Let me zoom in a little bit here. Wow, look at this. Okay, as we zoom in, I can start to see. Sorry, get rid of that. I can start to see. Wait, notice when I look down at my hands, I'm looking at my hands right now, it shows me my controls, like I can move them around and it basically shows me what they do. So I'm going to hit this button here. And now what it's done is it's allowed me to fly to anywhere on the earth that I would like. And I can grab the earth and move it around as well. So let me just fly in here. And you can see as I become closer and closer, the detail renders instantly. And I can basically make short work of a trip anywhere like by using Google Earth to fly around. Now I can go back to this view where the earth is in front of me and I can move the earth all around. Just by moving it like this, I can back up more so I can see more of the earth and move it around. And now let me have that address that we were going to punch in here. What's that address?
540 Junction, McLeod, California.
540 Junction.
Could you hear me?
Yep.
Yes, California. McLeod, California.
540 Junction.
Yes.
And it's McLeod, MC McLeod.
.540 Junction Avenue, McLeod, California. Let's go. There it is. Let's get in there. Now, there's that. I can change here. I can change my location, and then
At the time, it's the roads changed. It was 2 Junction, but it would be 5 or.
okay. Well, what I want to do is see if there is Street View available here. And it doesn't look like it has Street View available. Let me see.
It's a small town.
Yeah, it could be that Street View is not available for that. So let's go to
Thank you.
contestant number 2.
Thank you for trying.
Sure. Who is the second?
5,000,
Okay, what is it?
5,000,
5,000.
13th Avenue. In Sacramento. And it does have a street view, so
Okay, 5,000 13th Avenue in Sacramento. Let's get in there. Okay, there is the house. You can see I can move all around and take a look at the neighborhood. Let's see, let me put that earth in front of me. And look at it this way. Let's see. Now, let me zoom in there again. Get back down in there.
you're looking at the house across the street.
Yes. Let me now notice in my interface here, I have a little globe in my hand. You see that globe?
Mhm.
Mhm.
If I put that globe on my face, it'll be like a mask. Watch this. I'm going to put that globe right on my face, and that transfers me into Street View like this. So I can look around, Bob, at that address you gave. Am I behind? Is it over here?
Yeah, you're looking at it at my childhood house. See the one with the little brick wall there?
Yeah.
That's it.
So using this little bubble, I can go to this location and stand here in the middle of the street. I can't tell you how many times I did this when looking for a house in Georgia. I wanted to know what the neighborhood was like. So I got to stand here in my VR headset and travel the neighborhood. I'm going to go down this street and see what's at the end of the street.
It's
I'm
at
gonna
the
turn.
end.
Oh, a dead end. Yeah, indeed. Look, how much trouble did you get into down here, Bob, when you were a kid? You were messing
Yeah.
around, told not to.
Let's keep that secret.
Yes, yes. All right, let's go back down the other end of the street. It is remarkable to me that I could stand in front of my childhood home like this and interact with the neighborhood, see what was going on around the corner at my friend's house.
Here's one point. See that street you just saw?
Uh-huh.
Straight down that street's in perfect line with the old grandstand at the old fairgrounds.
Huh.
So when they did fireworks and stuff, it was perfect viewing sitting on the lawn.
Very cool. And so as I'm going through this neighborhood, as I move my head around, I can see everything. So looking for a house in Georgia would not have worked for me if I did not have a tool like this to inspect the neighborhood before. In fact, there were a few houses we wanted that did not have street view. So we said, no, thanks. Can't see what's around. No, thank you. So another extraordinary experience here in VR. Does anybody else want to give a address so we can?
Let me ask you a question, Pete, because it looks like it's kind of doing 3D. What about if you have some of those 360-degree photos? Does this render most of those?
Yeah, interesting. You should ask that. People may remember, I even brought a few examples.
Because I have a link to a site that is a 360 photo, and I don't know if it'll work or not.
Yeah, you can even get a cardboard thing that you fold up and put your phone in and strap to your head, and you can see in 360. So yeah, all of these Google Street View images are 360 because they use a 360-degree camera, obviously. And this particular application allows you to access that 360-degree view. Does anybody want to do some traveling? Let's use this to fly. We're going to fly faster. We can basically point this in any direction we want to go. So I have this little globe in my hand. You see my hand now? This will allow me to put a little pin anywhere in the globe that I want. You can see I'm just moving my hands in real time, trying to figure out where I would like to go exactly.
Go into southern Utah.
Ooh, I don't know if my geography is good enough to know exactly where that is, but let's
Well,
see.
or can you search by a location?
Oh, yes, yes. Here, let me pull that
Go
back.
to Dead Horse Point State Park.
All right, I can punch in any address or location here. DE. A.
The D didn't render.
Oh, I see that. Okay, that's a little choppy. DE. And this is an important moment here, so you can see how the interface goes in VR. I'm using an on-screen keyboard.
There it is, fourth item.
Oh,
This is
how-
where this is in Thelma and Louise. This is where they launched the car off of. And it's a great place if you're ever near Canyonlands.
I have the power to grab the globe and move it wherever I want. I can make myself further away or closer. I can fly to any location just by pointing and moving. I can fly through this canyon here, totally free to move around wherever I want. Fly a little bit faster with this button here. And in fact, take off and find somewhere else. Just like Superman, we're flying over. What's this? This looks interesting.
Pete, looking at the rendering, it seems very similar to just what I would see on Street View on my computer with Google Street View. But I guess with the goggles on, it's just more immersive.
Yeah, it gives you access to all the 360-degree data that Google shoots when they're going around doing their Street View. So now you get 360 instead of just the image in front of you, of course. And then you also get the ability to move and look around in real time and in real space as if you were there. So that kind of thing is definitely very different. What you said is absolutely right. And it almost sounds like you could forego VR. You could just go, well, this is the same thing Google has on it. So what's the big deal? I agree with you. However, the experience of being immersed in it is definitely a different level.
Yeah, if you like walk up to the edge of like the edge of the Grand Canyon, I mean, it will affect you, right?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, see, we don't get that on that's 3D versus 2D.
Yeah.
And there's also attractions, like for instance, this one here, it will take you to Burning Man. Let's go see what's going on at Burning Man. It'll take you to this attraction and you can see here is what Burning Man looked like when the festival was going on. And I can see the globe in my hand there. If I put that globe on my face, what happens? I get transported to wherever I'm pointing this thing. So let's go see what was going on down there during this time. Aha, looks like a
Now,
wide-
and is this an app that's accessing Google VR, or is this a Google thing?
This is an app by Google to access VR. Yep. So Google
no
made
charge?
No, this was a free one. Yep, this was a free app. We can zoom out, and as a matter of fact, I think you can zoom out far enough where like you can move the time of day, right? If you want to view at night, I can grab the sky and move that so we can view these places at night as opposed to day.
Ooh, do Petra.
And you can see the constellation. There's the sun over there.
wow.
Where's Petra? What's a Petra?
Jordan, do Petra. That would be real cool.
Oh, so just search Petra Jordan.
Yeah, Petra. Jordan, there you go.
So let's see. It will be taken.
Hopefully there's, oh, you're at night.
Now, if I don't want it at night, I simply put my cursor up to the sky and I drag to the time of day that I want. So I can do
Wow.
dawn and dusk. And let's just go to 12 daylight here. I'll go down here to this little pin. And yeah, let's fly out and see what kind of. And again, just using my cursor here, I can fly low or move my cursor up and fly higher. I can use this to fly faster to get to different places on the globe. You could recreate a plane flight that you took or look at a route, how you're going to fly somewhere. See,
Can you go back in, because there's some incredible buildings if you can get to it.
Yeah, let's see. Let's see, Patrick Jordan. And whereabouts would you say I should?
Or you could just say the Treasury, but yeah, boy. Down to your lower right. Yeah, just kind of, you can see the stuff to the left there.
Oh, I see something here.
Yeah, that's we want the ancient buildings, and that's not it. That's the town.
Oh, okay. Let me go over here and then I'll put my globe on my face so we can get a better look at where we're standing. Oh yeah, wow, this is cool. Very cool. And if at any time I want to save any of these locations, I can just do that with a click of a button and then return here.
Wow.
Like if I look in my saved area here and pull up my menu and I can look at saved. There are some things I've saved here. Solano County, California, where I used to live. You can frame the whole county here like I've done here. Again, dragging the sky to whatever time of day I want. I can grab that sun and have it set. Maybe view this at night or have that sunrise moment right there. Oh, look at that lovely sunrise off in the distance. In fact, let's fly to that sunrise. Again, a breathtaking moment right now that you can't feel, but this must be the closest thing to feeling like Superman just traveling throughout the sky, because it's effortless, it's smooth, it's beautiful, the surroundings. Let's go make it daylight again. And then I'll see, here we go, light of day, cool. And then I'll zoom out, I'll fly up a little bit so we can see that globe a little better. And then see, where should we, did we want to do one more address? Anybody have one they want to do?
How about mine? It's Bev. 27. Are you ready?
Yes, wait, let me bring that search bar up. That would be with. Wait, no, not that. Search bar. Okay, saved it. There we go. Let's see. Research.
Pete, how did you get Google Earth on your Oculus?
Yeah, good question. Like most devices, Oculus has a store environment where you go and you can shop for different, the different titles and stuff that are available. Okay, my search box seems, it's okay. You have to be unfeatured. Okay, what was that address?
2732 Kinney, spelled Kinney Drive, Walnut Creek, California.
All right, let's go. There it is. Let's head down here. Aha, shall I put on my globe and let's see what's doing? There we are. Lovely.
So why is there that blurriness?
Aha, yes. If you petition Google to remove something that they've photographed that you don't want there, they will often accommodate. Another thing
Interesting about my former neighbors.
Another thing of note is that all license plates are blurred, so you can see the back of this car. There is no visible license plate there. But yeah, this is your area here, and you can go down any of these streets and take a look at this neighborhood. A lot of fun. Okay, so I think I'll take off the headset now. You guys can see the consequences, the physical consequences of having one of these things on. What did I have it on for? About 15 minutes? I'm absolutely sweaty, as you can see here. I'll stop sharing my screen. And I've got indentations around my eyes, and I'm just a mess. It's very hot. The reason I'm showing you this is a little gross or whatever, but this is one of the reasons I believe that after 15 or 20 minutes, if I'm feeling like this, and I'm an enthusiast, what's the regular person going to feel about strapping on a heavy device to their face, and it gets hot and you're sweaty and you have these indentations in your face from the goggles and stuff? It's not all fun and games, which is why I'm surprised to see Apple, if there even are, it's all speculation at this point, but why I'm surprised to, hear these rumors about Apple being so close to a release, because it's not all fun and games. There's a lot to solve for here to make this a viable consumer product.
Is the part of the heat's from the uncomfortableness, but is it the actual display and the device itself producing heat?
Oh, indeed. Yeah. If you look inside here, and another drawback, in my opinion, to these devices is that they're very personal. They're not real shareable. You see, my sweat is around here. So it's not as though people are lining up to put this on their face after I've used it. It's a very personal device. And this apparatus inside here has the computer in it. And this is what gets very hot. So it's really right on your face, and the heat is just emanating right where your eyes are.
I'm surprised they don't have some built-in fan.
Yeah, well, with fans come noise and battery drain. So that's probably why they opted not to do it. And by the way, the fitness genre of these devices is really popular. People love to strap these on and do these like fitness routines inside the VR, which I can't even imagine. I just sat here on my butt for 20 minutes and I'm sweaty and grimy. So I can't imagine how these fitness folks are doing it, but I hope I encapsulated much of the experience to you there. I really wanted to pass on just kind of a few different slices of what could be possible inside that headset. I didn't get to the one where it's your desk, where you're set up on your desk. I certainly can, if anybody would like to see that. I'm happy to go back in and just pull that one up. But you may be fatigued. You may be saying, no, we've had enough VR experiences. So
thank you.
well, you're welcome. we can definitely move on from VR at this point. If we would do some quick Q&A. But yeah, we can move on from that into more of an AR discussion.
Comment, Pete. They should consult with some of the manufacturers of modern CPAP machines.
Ah,
They're small, like smaller than a loaf of bread,
And quiet.
totally silent.
Yeah.
hmm.
Big improvement over the past 10 years.
Yeah,
Well, maybe Apple's harnessed all that, and they're going to show up with something that fixes all these problems.
I have a quick thing I need to do. I've made Al host, and I don't think that will end the meeting, but please contact me ASAP if anything happens. I have to exit the meeting temporarily, so sorry.
I heard that there was a plate of barbecue at my front door. So I'll be right back.
Oh,
I tell you what, it's one of the consequences of living in Georgia is the pesky neighbors will just keep dropping off plates of barbecue
oh
for
man.
you and text you and let you know it's on your doorstep. Yeah. Well, that was fun. I want
are
to.
you home alone and they're taking pity on you?
There's a pool party at the HOA pool down the street.
Oh,
And, yeah. My wife is volunteering to run the darn thing. And then I guess she sent one of the kids up with a plate for me. So that was cool. Yeah. While we're here, as we transition into AR, I think it is important to sort of talk a bit more about 3D in general as we transition to AR. I think it'll make a good transition. So any more VR discussion needed here, or I think we're good. We've exhausted that one. Okay, beautiful. So as we transition to AR, I want to talk a bit about 3D and what 3D means and why 3D has exploded over the past decade the way it has. Largely with computing since 1984, we've had all these aspirations to do immersive things, but it's all been 2D for the most part. I mean, this immersive VR experience is the closest thing we get to a 3D experience, meaning you have all the axes, you have up, down, left, right, forward, back in your view. So 3D is critical because before we used to design one side of things. If you just take video games, for instance, if you looked at old video games, it was mostly flat side-scrolling games, but now you see these 3D immersive experiences, and this is because computer hardware is now able to push the amount of pixels needed to create a 3D experience, whereas even just 10 years ago, computers could not handle crunching all of the demands to present to the user a viable 3D experience. It just wasn't possible. Now with these super fast computers, it has democratized 3D in many ways, meaning somebody like me can now, with a little bit of learning, take advantage of this 3D world. Does any of that sound practical at all? It sounds like some Star Trek stuff I'm talking about here. But what I would like to show you is a few very practical examples of how the democratization of 3D has affected my home and my work, both my home and my work. As somebody who is an enthusiast, and I push myself. Anytime there's a new technology, I push myself to learn it. I push myself to accept it. And I also push myself to find applications that are relevant to you and I, not just this big aspirational push of, oh, VR is going to be cool. What does that mean? What can you and I do with it? Well, with the democratization of 3D, or in other words, allowing all of us to get our hands on 3D software that'll do things in 3D, I've been able to utilize 3D for many things. Let me show you two examples. One's a personal example to me, and one is part of my professional life, the work I do 9 to 5 every day, how I've used 3D for that to help others, to help communicate with others visually. So the first thing I'll show you is a piece of software. Now, many of you have backgrounds in things like engineering and CAD and all that stuff. This was the original 3D. Those programs, CAD and that stuff, that's where 3D got its bones. That's where we all started to realize, wow, we can create objects in 3D, but only the most powerful computers could handle this type of thing. Well, now all of our Macs and all of our iPads can now handle this type of work. I highly recommend an application called Shaper 3D. Al, you may want to put that one in the chat. SHAPR. Shaper 3D is available for the Mac. It's available for the iPad. It's available for PCs. It's multi-platform, so I use it on multiple platforms. And in my opinion, it's a very friendly way to get people acquainted with the very complex world of CAD and 3D rendering and modeling. If you have any interest in this whatsoever, I highly recommend Shaper. SHAPR. Now, when you first open Shaper, it's going to be like Photoshop. You're going to be like, this is too many interface, too many buttons, too many things. But if you push yourself to learn some of the basics, soon you'll be rendering things you never imagined. Let me share my screen with you and open Shaper. I've got Shaper open here. It's making me log in. Why are you doing that? Let me just log in to Shaper. Okay, I'm now in Shaper, and this is my account here, and I'm going to go to my designs. I'm going to go to designs here. These are all just things that I've designed while tinkering with Shaper. And there's a few things I just want to show you that are practical applications, because you might be going, well, Pete, I'm still not seeing what 3D has done. Look, I am, to say the least, I am a quirky individual. Yes, I get this. What I've done is created my own note paper. You see these notes? I've put my own stuff on here. I even have little Pac-Man icons and stuff. These are the notes I use every day at work. I fold my paper in half and I know exactly what to put on the front. I have my info on the back and some things in the middle. Every day I write the date on the top, and these are the notes I take every day. You can see here's mine from yesterday. I used my paper yesterday with all my notes on it. Well, I needed somewhere to place them, so I fired up Shaper and I asked myself, well, what do I want? I want a little desk caddy. I want somewhere where I can rest my notes, the blank ones. I want somewhere where I can stick the filled out ones so I can see them easily. I need a slot for my Apple Pencil, and I need a slot for my pen every day, and some Post-it notes. So I opened up Shaper 3D and I was able to design exactly what I wanted. This is what I wanted for my desk. I wanted a little holder that I can put my paper in, a little place for me to put Post-it notes, a place to store a hard drive if I need it, and some slats to hold my paper. This would have been perfect for me. So I designed it using Shaper. There isn't anything too complex here. This is just shapes with other shapes subtracted from it, as you can see. This started out as a rectangle, and I started chiseling away to reveal just what I wanted. Now, what I've done...
Must be seeing your screen.
I'm going to share that with you now. I noticed I wasn't sharing it. So what I've done is created that. It went from my mind to Shaper 3D. I thought this would be great to have on my desk. I could put my blank ones here. I could put the filled out ones in these little stands here. I could put my Apple Pencil, my highlighters, some Post-it notes. I designed it exactly how I wanted it. Now, I looked online at OfficeDepot.com and Staples.com, and I found some paper organizers, but nothing like this. This is one of a kind. This is my design. And they were $20 each. Well, what I did, folks, was took this from Shaper and fed it to my 3D printer. And now on my desk is that very caddy that you saw there. Designed it myself, I have a place for my Post-it notes. My hard drive is right there, and my hard drive just sits in there. I've got my Apple Pencil, some highlighters, my pen here, my blank pages that I use, and where I file them after I filled them out is right there. This is everything I wanted in a little caddy, and I designed it right there in Shaper, sent it to my 3D printer, and there it is, now live, right before your eyes. The democratization of 3D has allowed for stuff like this, where I don't have to go to the store and buy the things I need anymore. I can print them myself. For instance, I wanted a hamburger press. I went in Shaper 3D and I designed it myself. I even designed in some hardware there so I could screw the press plunger to the rest of the bottom. And I printed that out, and now I have a really nifty hamburger press that allows me to put it on the scale, put the meat in there and press it. Just a few other things I'll go over here. I like my nightstand to be organized. So I wanted somewhere where I could put my phone. I wanted somewhere where I could put my watch. I wanted somewhere where I could put my glasses. I wanted somewhere where I could put ibuprofen where the dog can't get it. So I made a little lid for that, which you just put on at night so the dog can't dig into my ibuprofen supply. I've got a place for my saline solution, for my AirPods, for my wedding ring, and the fan remote goes right in here. I designed all this using Shaper. I sent it to my 3D printer, and now on my side is a blue one, and on my wife's side is a pink one. And we love our organizers because it holds everything we want. I looked online, and for an organizer somewhat similar with, just regular old manufacturing, it was $25 or $30. This cost me $4 in 3D printer filament once I was done with it. And I've now got the perfect thing for beside my bed. And then it'll scale too. I'm currently remodeling or finishing my basement. And in order to do that with some precision, I've modeled all of the framing in my basement. And what Shaper 3D has allowed me to do is when my friend comes over to help, we have all of our measurements. We keep an iPad and we just simply go through here and check what our measurements are supposed to be everywhere we're building. So this has been a huge help to be able to render that in 3D and use it while remodeling. I'll just go to one or two more here. As you can see, my phone stand has iterated quite a bit over the weeks and months. My phone stand used to look like this, where the Apple TV remote was in there and all kinds of stuff. My phone stand used to look different. I had a version. Now I have an ice maker in the kitchen, and the ice maker has this plastic scoop that came with it. And the plastic scoop doesn't fit in the lid of my water bottle. So whenever I try to pour the ice from the scoop into my water bottle, it just spills all over. What I did was design my own scoop out of a design that I thought would be great. What this does is allows me to scoop up a lot of ice and then stick this in my water bottle, and all the ice just falls down into the chute. The lower part is just a stand. So I put it on the stand. This little thing is sitting right next to my ice maker right now. And when I go fill my cup with ice, I just grab it, I scoop it, I put the small part in my water bottle and shake it, and it all just falls down in there. I've vastly improved that experience with Shaper 3D and a 3D printer. Now you might be going, well, I might be able to design something in Shaper 3D after a few lessons, but I'm not going to go out and buy a 3D printer. Well, no worries. There are plenty of services now that will 3D print whatever you've designed. They'll do it for you. You just send them the file, they'll 3D print it and send it to you. As you can see, there's no problem I don't try to solve with 3D. My wife said, the dog's food is all over the pantry. How can we fix that? Well, I simply said, hold my beer. Let me go design something that will hold the dog's food. So there's several of these on the wall in the pantry now, and you just slide the different flavors in and pull them out the bottom, and they're just stuck to the wall with command strips. So this was the way I solved the problem of disorganized dog food. This, I wanted to show you this because this in my personal life has been a way I've used 3D to enhance many, many small things around me. You can't see here, but there's many more 3D printed parts on my desk that hold various things that I need them to hold. incredible experience being able to design and print your own things to your very own specifications.
So Pete, have you gotten patents on any of these or tried to market any of them?
I've thought about this kind of thing, like, hey, send me what you want for your phone nightstand and I'll model it in and send it to you and it'll be $50, you know, something like this. I've racked my brain for ways to try to monetize this. I just don't know. I think there is potential there. I'm just not sure how to go after it, you know? So yes, in a way, I really like that potential, but it's complicated. It's difficult to get there. One more thing I wanted to show you was very practical. I moved in this house. The house was built 20 years ago. There's these little curtain clips, and they broke. And so what I did was I scanned it. I scanned it on my my scanner. I just scanned an image in of it. Let me see. Do I have that? Oh, I think I deleted. Oh, yeah. You see that image? I scanned it using my scanner, and that was the clip that was broken. And I needed several replacements, and I can't find them. So from the scan that I made, I just simply created a 3D part that was the same specifications. You see that is here, this 3D part. And then I printed it, and that's what's holding up my curtain valances right now. A 3D printed part that I couldn't find online. I just simply took an hour to recreate it. It has been an amazing experience to be able to do this type of thing. I highly encourage you to mess around with Shaper 3D. Their tutorials are amazing. They have lots of great tutorials that'll take you through how to use it. Do it on your iPad, especially if you have an Apple Pencil. It makes the experience all that much more fun. And just start simple. Start with a simple thing. What's something you might want to see? Do you have a salt and pepper shaker and you simply want to make a little holder for them on your table? Shoot, model it in Shaper to be the right size for your salt and pepper shaker. It's that got me started in having fun with this type of thing. And by the way, a 3D printer is about, you know, for the one I would recommend, probably $750, you know. It's not all that expensive, but the time you put into it to master how they work and all that stuff can be a little bit more time consuming. But if you have any desire whatsoever to manufacture even the smallest thing, it's been a blast. So then I'd just like to switch over to my work life. In my work life, I have lots of responsibilities. I work for Hewlett Packard, HP, right? Everybody knows that's my day job. And right now they're having me plan their yearly meeting. It's a yearly meeting of a certain group of HP, not the whole company, but there's a certain group that's having a yearly meeting. This is my ninth year in a row planning that meeting. So I'm the chief planner for this meeting. I can't tell you how difficult it is to be planning a meeting where we buy out an entire hotel and we populate all the rooms, the ballrooms, the meeting rooms. I have to populate all those. I have to figure out what we can fit in there and what we can't. And I have to figure out how it's going to look. I have to choose the decor and I have to choose what's going to go on in each room. Up until now, I've always used a piece of paper where somebody's drawn a diagram of all the rooms with the measurements on it. And I look at that piece of paper and I estimate, what is it going to look like? How big will the thing on the stage be? How tall will somebody look next to it? These are questions I've had planning these events for a decade now. Well, since I leaned into 3D and I really worked hard to arm myself with the tools needed to be able to produce 3D content very quickly, I'm now planning this meeting in a whole different way. I just wanted to share maybe a little bit of that with you. I got a diagram from the hotel. It was a flat 2D diagram. And the diagram was all of their meeting rooms. And so what I did was took that diagram, and I'll show you that diagram here. Here it is. Here is the diagram I provided. I'll share my screen here in a moment. There we go. Here's the diagram as provided by the hotel. Let me share. And so it was my challenge to try to figure out, okay, based on this diagram, you know, I'm dealing with lots of people, maybe 25 other people are reporting to me and planning this meeting. And as we're all gathered around this diagram here of the hotel, I'm going, gosh, this is so difficult to digest for me. I don't understand the scale and the breadth of this space. And I'm a very visual person, so it's tough for me to digest what we're dealing with a flat thing like this. What I've done is taken a little bit of time to render the entire hotel in 3D, as you can see here. I now have a 3D rendering of each room of the hotel. I can get an accurate count of the number of chairs and where they're best positioned in the hotel. I can get an accurate look at how tall somebody will be on the stage and how some of our props will compare to a human standing on the stage. I've been able to show the scale of the screens and how we'll interact with different rooms in the hotel, how we might go from this room through the pipe and drape to get to the stage. All of these things have been planned using 3D software. Not only that, but once I've got this hotel built, take a look at this. I can walk through it as if I was there. I'm now in VR and I'm looking around the hotel. I can walk forward and see what it would be like to walk between the rows of chairs. I can go up to the stage and see what it would be like with the height of the stage. I can look back across the room and see what those things would be like. This all with a little bit of 3D work done with something like Shaper 3D. I use a different app for this called Blender.
Pete, can you populate the chairs with people?
Absolutely, yeah. This model here, I have a model here, and notice the model has apparatus sticking out here, but that apparatus allows me to have full pose capability. So for instance, if I want to have this person's arm move any way I want, I can just use this apparatus to decide how I'll position these people. And so, yes, I can certainly put them in the chairs, and then there is a thing that allows me to duplicate, where it's called an array. So I can make an array of people. I can't tell you how important this has been when a stakeholder asks me, I'd like to know how big the Plinko board is going to look on the stage next to a person. I even went so far as to program in the physics of the Plinko board. As you can see, let's see if I go in here. You should be able to see my Plinko chip is separate and will fall down in the Plinko game with some programming there. Now, if you can imagine, many of you have probably planned big events. Could you imagine having a full 3D model of the location that you'll be attending and all the measurements accurately portrayed in one model like this? And by the way, have the ability to actually walk through and walk from place to place to see what egress might be like from one ballroom to another ballroom. Does this look like enough room to have the banquet that you want here? Do these screens fit properly in these rooms? Just so much can be accomplished leaning into 3D a little bit. The other thing that HP told me is they said, we want a really cool neon sign. And I don't know how one would make a really cool neon sign unless they did it in 3D. What I did was I took their logo and I created and rendered a neon sign with it. So let me just show you what that looks like. This neon sign has all the characteristics of a regular neon sign. It's one continuous tube, and I was able to easily 3D model these parts. Now, when you look at the neon sign in rendered view, you see this beautiful lit up neon sign that looks absolutely real. Watch when I zoom in. You can see the screws and the wires that hold the neon together. You can see the neon glow and the signage behind it. All this was done with 3D, and it gives me the ability to create amazing art rendered in 3D that ends up looking real. Oh, shoot, there was something so important I wanted to show you about Shaper 3D. So if you don't mind, I'm just going to rewind very briefly. I'm going to go into Shaper, and I wanted to show you one last thing, which brings us all the way forward to augmented reality. But in Shaper, I'm going to open it on my iPad. And the reason I'm opening it on my iPad is because I have a camera here in the iPad. So I'm going to open up one of my designs in the iPad, and we'll just do my bed stand, my phone bed stand. Oh, they want me to update. This should be very brief. Let's see. A small update. But this is a very important thing that that goes right along with AR, augmented reality. Just clear a little space here. Okay, very good. Loading. Wait, why is it? Okay, phone station. Oh, I guess the update made it so designs were incompatible. If there's any questions, go ahead and shoot them out while this loads. I should be able to make pretty short work of this. Yeah, it just required an update, so it has to do that. Okay, I'm gonna put this down for a second. Let's let that update. Halfway done. I think we mentioned this a bit earlier with when we were talking about IKEA. Okay, looks like it's just about done updating. I hope they announce new iPads at the Monday shindig. Put this on do not disturb. So many notifications. Okay, here we go. I'm going to open that. Sorry, quick update there. I'm going to open my phone station that I designed here. And you see that there, yes, my little phone station. Very fun to move around in 3D. You can use the Apple Pencil, very cool. But now I want to see this in real life. I want to know if it's going to be too big or too small. I want to see what it's going to look like. I can easily do that with the touch of a button using Shaper 3D. Right up here, I have the augmented reality view. Let's see here. Okay, and what I can now do with that is hit the augmented reality button. And what you're going to see on my screen is the ability for me to, you see that? I've set it on my desk. It's now sitting right there on my desk. You see it there? Now it's not really there. Watch this. If I go away, there's nothing there. But if I show you through my iPad view, my phone stand is there. You see it? It's kind of glaring. Let's see, how can I make this better? Bring this up. You see my phone stand sitting on my desk there?
Yep.
I cannot interact with it because it's not really there. But what I can do is look at it through this lens and go, okay, that looks good. That's a good size. It looks good from all around. It matches the surroundings. It gives me the opportunity to see it in scale in the very space that I'm going to put it. Which after you design something in Shaper 3D, there's no better feeling than going, wow, I can now see it there on my desk. You can see, and that's what IKEA is doing with furniture. They're making it so you can use your phone to project the furniture into your room so you can see if that chair or table is going to be the right scale for your space. And all the IKEA designers have done is open Shaper 3D or some similar app, design the furniture there, and then put it so you can see it through the camera. It isn't as simple as that because there are a bunch of depth sensors that tell the camera how to keep it still and where to set it down. And you can even move it around with your finger. If you want to move it around the room, you can move it to the corner or another side of the room. So as you can see, 3D is converging in all these ways. The democratization where you at home can design your own 3D items and print them out and use them so you don't have to go to the local store to buy them. You can use 3D environments to communicate things to others, to show others what something is going to look like, to render something, to give somebody an idea of the scale and breadth of what you're doing. And then there's the augmented reality possibility for Monday. Now we've talked VR and we've seen examples. We've talked 3D and how you, using Shaper 3D, could create anything you wanted and have it printed or print it yourself. We've talked about how augmented reality allows companies like IKEA to project the stuff onto your living room floor to see if it fits in your space. Now, let's bring that all full circle to the possibility of what Apple may release on Monday. In my opinion, if they're going to release anything in this space, this AR, VR space, I believe that would be augmented reality over virtual reality. That's what we were saying at the beginning. I don't believe it will be a device like this that allows an immersive gaming experience. I think it would be more of a device like this, a pair of glasses that you put on. You can still see the world, but you'll have overlays of information. That's my prediction. Again, hopefully we don't break my record. But Monday, please tune in or don't if you don't want to, but it's 10 a.m. Pacific, and we're going to see the unveiling of something cool, I'm sure. Be there if you can make it. Whew, we may be ready to switch over to AI, but let's sit on 3D for a moment and see if there's anything we want to rediscuss or look at, or questions or anything like that.
Pete, a quick question about when you 3D print something, are the filaments all just kind of like monocolor? Are those the options that you have? Going forward, are you able to generate multiple color schemes and stuff and integrate that into your design? Is that something forthcoming or something that can be done now? What's the state of the art of that as far as consumer level equipment?
Yes. Let me show you something. I'm going to show you, in my opinion, these folks I'm about to show you are the Apple of the 3D printing, right? They're the company that honors their users and makes sure the experience is as easy and streamlined as it can be. So if you look at their offerings, this company is called Prusa Research. I think they're in Czechoslovakia. Joseph Prusa, really visionary person in the 3D space, doing a great job for consumer end products. Now you see here their standard model. This is the one I have. It's the MK3S Plus. This is what I printed this stuff you're seeing on. Now, what's interesting about this, and your question, Al, is that when you purchase this, you can choose to add on. And by the way, here's a wide range of different filament materials, but you can actually add on additional tool heads that will go back to home base, grab a different color, and then come back to your print. So for instance, here's a 3D printed Buzz Lightyear using a printer that has the capability of going back to home base, dropping off one filament, collecting another, and then coming back. Now, it seems pretty straightforward that this could be possible. However, the problem is this. When you transition from one type of filament to another, anybody ever use a hot glue gun before?
Yep.
For those moments you were using that hot glue gun, you were a 3D printer, because 3D printers use exactly the same concept. They have a nozzle where the hot filament comes out, and a control, which you used your hand on the hot glue gun, right? You were pressing for the glue to come out. This just has a little gear that does that for it, but it basically extrudes the filament. Now, if you've ever changed colors on your hot glue gun, meaning you want to take out the white one and put in some red glitter hot glue, you know how much white has to come out before the red starts flowing through, because there's hot melted stuff in there that needs to move out. Well, Randy, to answer your question, the problem with 3D printing a Buzz Lightyear like this is the amount of waste that was produced from purging the nozzle to a new color is about equal to the volume of the 3D print. So at this time, they don't have a super efficient way to drop one color off and put another color in without significant waste of getting that melted goo out of the tube to be ready for the next color. So we're a little far off from that. However, this company has introduced different tool heads that will do that very thing. And so they're expensive at the moment, but let me see. Yes. They're expensive at the moment, but I am really excited about the potential of those multi-tool head 3D printers, so you can get the full color 3D prints. Now, HP, the company that I work for, is really big on 3D printing, but only for commercial. They do not have any consumer end 3D printing offerings. They only offer commercial machines, because in the commercial space, people are doing prototyping and one-offs using 3D printers in all walks of manufacturing. Car companies are now 3D printing a part to test it out before they send it to manufacturing. For enterprise, 3D printing and 3D CAD is massive. It's a massive enterprise.
Thanks.
Pete, another question about Sharper.
Yeah.
I see it's a subscription thing and it's got 4 levels. Oh, one, like the bottom one is, I think, what was it, like $40? And Pro.
think you get a
Business
free,
For 60 and
yeah.
another Pro for 300.
I'm the 300 level. I love the darn program, but I wouldn't buy anything until you've used it for a bit. So I think you can do a free one for a little while. It allows you to do one project. I don't think it lets you export with the free one, but at least you get to see if you can learn the interface and get the hang of it. But if you like it, then I highly recommend, just choosing the subscription that's most comfortable for you. I just pay for the year. I have unlimited output, unlimited input. For me, it works because I am always designing something either for work or home. But yeah, I think it has a pretty flexible set of plans.
In other words, the $37 one is not a full year.
It may
It
be, but
doesn't really say here, so.
it may be, but the limitations are just that you can only output a certain number of prints or
Oh,
something.
okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Last thing about 3D and 3D printing, then we move on to AI. But this program I have here is called a slicer. The only reason I bring it up is because I get questions a lot about, well, if you design something in Shaper, how do you just throw it over to a 3D printer? You don't. There is a go-between piece of software called a slicer, and a slicer's job is to take an object that you give it, right? Hey, I just designed this remote caddy right here. I want to 3D print it. Slicer, what say you? What the slicer does is turns this into a 3D print to make sure that your 3D printer can accommodate it. So I'm going to go ahead and slice this object. I just made it in Shaper 3D. Excuse me, I'm going to slice it now. I'll go over to my Slice Now button. And what you can see here is that the computer ran a simulation to decide what this was going to look like in 3D. So if I zoom in on it, you can see all the layers are rendered here that will be layered in 3D. You can see all the various filament layers are shown here. It's basically saying, if you hit print on this, here's how we're going to fill this in. And you can take this knob here and you can say, show me the progress of this 3D print. So you can see here, it has what's called infill. It fills in with a grid, but you can say, I want to see from the first layer all the way up as the 3D printer progresses, how this is going to print. And you can look at the progression. Now, to answer your question, I think, Al, right here, watch, I can click the plus, and that allows me for a color change. So if I wanted to change this and make it a 2-color print, I can easily do that with this software. What's going to happen is once the orange is done and it gets to the green, the 3D printer will start beeping and say, hey, we need your attention. When I get over there, it'll say, please now put in the green filament. I'll put that in, and then I'll get my second color. So it's not a difficult thing to pull off. And I'm trying to find something. Oh, here we go. I designed this little tray for my desk. It holds coins and glasses and that kind of thing. And you can see that it has 2 colors. What I did was just did some red right on top of the black. And I've got a red border here, and you can see it's red on the bottom. I put little rubber feet on there. And then after it was done, I poured epoxy inside there to get a nice smooth finish inside. See that nice smooth finish? So now I have this little tray. It's got feet. It's got my little Star Wars logo in there. I put it on my desk and it holds my keys and my wallet when I get home. It's exactly the size of my wallet on this side and holds my keys nicely over there. Nice shiny surface with some 2-part epoxy poured in there. But this is an example of how the 3D printer will stack one color on top of another if you assign it to do so like I've done here.
Nice.
So much fun.
By the way,
Yeah.
Pete, I just checked and UPS now has 3D printing in some of their sites.
Oh, cool.
So it's definitely going mainstream.
Mm-hmm. Shoot, my friend has 2 sons, and those boys have created, I mean, they're teenagers, but they've created things with moving parts and gears and axles. I mean, it's just, they're creating things that as a kid I only wish I could imagine, but now they're printing them and playing with them. It's mind-blowing what but there's the bad side too. People are printing weapons that can't be detected by metal detectors, right? Guns are 3D printable, except for the metal upper. So there are people also manufacturing nefarious things. Once you mix that with Raspberry Pi computer boards and AI, artificial intelligence, you now have some interesting comic book villain type of contraptions that could be built to serve for evil purposes. So it's scary but cool all at the same time. I have this on me almost at all times. This is a thing. I forget what it's called. Anybody know? Thing where it goes like this, slidey
Like
protractor, compass,
micrometer?
Caliper.
caliper, darn it. Yep, that's it. And what I do is just if I want to make a 3D printed item, I'll say I want to make a little thing to put my water bottle in. I'll come along and measure this, and then I'll just design the thing to accommodate the right measurement, and there we go. So it's remarkable fun. If anybody has a little bit of spare time, get you a 3D printer, start messing around, email me, text me. If you get into it, I'll nerd out with you. I'll help you with some of the things I've learned to get you through faster, but I'm just having a blast with it. It's a lot of fun.
So Pete, on the wallet thing that you made, you said you put some rubber feet on it. So did you bought some rubber feet somewhere?
Amazon. Yep.
Okay.
Yep, I bought these at Amazon. I put them on the bottom of all my 3D prints. My little paper holder has them over there too. They're very grippy. I think it was $3 for 100. And yeah, once I put it on my desk, it doesn't move at all. It's nice and grippy, and it just gives it a nice fit and finish. I've given a couple of these away as gifts, and it's just, yeah, real nice piece, customized on the inside. You can put people's names, or you can imagine whatever you want in there. My daughter put some dried flowers in there and then poured the epoxy in. So the dried flowers were in the epoxy, came out really nice.
If for those feet, if you're going to search Amazon, what title do you use to search?
Start with rubber feet. And I think you'll see them. One last thing, guys, let me just put my money where my mouth is. I want to take you on a quick run.
We lose him?
Here I am, right?
There you go.
You see me there?
Yeah.
Oh, there's my barbecue plate. Let me just
Yummy.
I want to take you for a quick run through just to show you I put my money where my mouth is. My kids like to play Uno, but it's hard to keep those things stacked up. I 3D printed a little Uno card holder, didn't take much. Let's go walk around the house and see what else is going on in the world of 3D prints. I like to cook, and I like my spice rack to be organized. So I took my 3D printer and I said, how could I improve the spice rack? You can see here I've 3D printed these cartridges, basically, where I can slide this out. You see this? I can slide this out. I can take these spices outside with me if I want to, if I'm going to go grill or something, and I can slide it back in easily for cleaning. Each one of these took me 9 hours to print, right? The 3D printer took 9 hours, but I printed all these. I got little bottles and labeled them, so my spices are good. And same thing with these. I 3D printed these holders where all of my solutions can just sit up there and be ready. There's my ice scoop. I scoop up the ice and then put that in my water bottle, and then I get that good ice instead of this darn thing. A lot of remote controls. So I designed a remote control holder that will custom hold each one of my remotes. They're all designed perfectly for each remote. And a little spot, put some trinkets, and then I 3D printed a base for this controller, and it sits right there. I even wired in a charger for that, so it charges. Oh, look at you. Nobody wants to see you. Nobody wants to see you. No one wants to see you by your beanbag chair. And then let's go outside, shall we? I needed some way to hold these torches up over here. Yeah, we got these little torches here. So I just 3D printed these, and I put them right on there, one on top, one on bottom. There, so another easily 3D printed thing. I didn't have to pay anybody for anything there. So I just wanted to show you, put my money where my mouth is. There is 3D printed stuff all over the darn house.
That's a great tour, Pete.
Uh-huh.
Very good tour.
Oh, I was into coasters for a while. I was making coasters. I thought, maybe I could do something with this. But here is just another example. These coasters, I even bought a little cork thing from Amazon, a little cork sticker, and I just put it on the bottom of the 3D print. And then I poured a little epoxy in there. You can see I've got some Star Wars ones and was able to 3D print that pattern and pour epoxy in there with a little bit of red with the cork on the bottom. And yeah, my wife is tolerant of this design. She says, yes, this can be out in the house. This, not so much, but yes, this can. And then let's just go one last place. Come on with me down to the basement. Okay, music studio. This is where my son does his music. There is a desk for me over there, but let's head in here. Oh gosh, it might be kind of a mess. Let me turn the light on. Quick tour. Here we go. Okay, this is the 3D printer that does it all. My little tinkering station, another computer here to get that stuff done. This is where I print. Here are some graveyard. This was an old design for my phone holder. Had a little watch charger put right in there. So you put your watch over here, put your trinkets, put your phone down here. Here was another design. It was the white green design. I designed this little thing to hold my tomato can there with all my little tools in it. So that sits there, part of my hamburger press that I made with the screw inside. So yes, this is the mad scientist area here. And then what? There's this room over here. This device here is called a glow forge. Here, wait, let me go back here. Whew. This here is a glow forge. This is a laser cutter. You basically put material in here like this, and that laser comes through and cuts all this stuff out. Here's the laser here. And so you get things like this. I did this for HP. We had hundreds of those made. Some name tags and some other things. I've got leather here that I was able to burn on the leather. You can see little leather pattern there. So lots of fun to be had with 3D and laser cutting. Democratized manufacturing, basically. You need to go out, dog? No, you don't. Okay. There was my moment of like, I really do live this stuff. Okay, go back up to my office.
You know, Pete, you're giving us too many ideas, and some of us don't need any more ways to spend lots of money. I'm wondering if, Al, you're going out and buying one tomorrow.
Oh, Lord. It'd be nice to have the space to do all that stuff. You know, that's the other thing. You need some real estate to have these specialized rooms. And gosh, I'm struggling with that.
That was another reason for leaving the West Coast is like basements, you know,
More bang for your buck.
Basement is a whole world of tinker space. Yeah.
It's like I've always said, MacNexus is the 12-step program for Apple products.
Yeah, that's a great tour, Pete. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you. We have been throwing around ideas of having a virtual Empower Mac where we would have workshops on all these things, 3D printing, laser cutting.
Sign me up.
Introductions, all that stuff. So we're getting closer to that day.
I get 12 people a day asking me about that, Pete. So we need to do it.
Let's do it. I'm excited.
And actually, if you think about it, from a teaching standpoint, let's talk about doing a Pages class. How much better it is to use doing Zoom than us going around to everybody and watching you and going through the way you present classes in a long format basis. It's superb.
I think, yeah, this would even be better than in person for that reason that you just said.
Yeah.
The socializing thing wouldn't be so fun, but yeah, I think for instruction, it's much easier to be here with your computer and in your own space. Yeah. Whew. Okay. AI.
Have you ever seen this site called Thingiverse?
Absolutely, yes.
They have some
Thingiverse.
very cool stuff.
Yeah, hopefully you put that in the chat. At
Yeah.
Thingiverse, what Thingiverse is it's like it's like Instagram, but it's for 3D models. People create something like I've done here. They post it up to Thingiverse. And then if you go on Thingiverse, here, I'll share my screen here, and you search on Thingiverse, you can find here, and then we'll just go to Thingiverse. And here at Thingiverse, it's all stuff that people have 3D printed and they're sharing it. You know, like this person here has designed and 3D printed a little set of drawers that goes on your pegboard to hold little knickknacks and stuff. Well, they're sharing it. It's free. You can download all these files and print them yourself. As a matter of fact, there are hundreds upon hundreds of things that you can print here. There's cookie cutters with Mario faces on it.
Which is a bit of ironic, cookie cutters.
Yeah, hey, you're printing a cookie cutter. Yeah. Oh, hey, little Q-tip. Hey, somebody's a person after my own heart here, doing little utilitarian things like that. And there's practical stuff, you know, like this could come in handy. A little way to get small parts into a little bag. So with a 3D printer and something like Thingiverse, even if you weren't the type of person likely to design and create your own stuff, even if you said, you know what, I am just going to go here on the internet and search for, let's see, something to hold my soap bar because my soap is getting mushy in the shower. Oh, look, people have come up with tons of ideas to hold soap in ways that will not make it mushy. And so you can just download and print this file as you see fit and not have to go, hopefully you're not going to Target at all, but not have to go to somewhere. So yeah, there you go. Okay, AI. Let's switch, and let's close it out with any questions, comments. But then yeah, let's switch over to AI. Okay. First, let's just have a brief discussion about what the heck AI even is. Because I've been around for this evolution. I've had a front row seat to it, just like you have. And I think if we go back to like the 90s, the early 90s, internet was not readily available and neither were computers. There was just a very elite few of us who had a computer and who had a modem and could connect using 9600 baud or 1200, whatever it was. And that was the internet. And as our capabilities grew and as our research grew and as our technology grew and as our desire to do more things grew, the internet became a bunch of websites, and a bunch of websites was cool, right? We got to go to websites. There were message boards and all kinds of interesting things in the beginning. And then you were here. Let me see. Do I have this? And then you had Web 2.0, which was like, ooh, in addition to just websites, now we can have interactive forms and we can have various different intelligence built into a website. What I mean by that is if you're putting your address in a website and you do the zip code, well, then the city and state populates for you based on the zip code. These were all innovations and things that were happening that we were all excited about. Look, these web pages are saving my credit card info so I can make easy purchases. And all of this seemed innocent enough until we got to the era of big data. Big data started like about 10 years ago. Big data was this new concept of warehouse. Well, perhaps not a new concept, I'm sorry, but a concept we could now realize with the amount of storage space we had in these server farms and stuff. We could now have data aggregated at quantities previously unthinkable. You can have data that has billions of data points in it, sliced through very quickly by machines that compute at staggering speeds. So all of a sudden, big data became important because we were like, gosh, we can analyze all of this data instantly. Where before, you all probably remember, even opening an Excel spreadsheet that was somewhat heavy took forever. It slowed your computer down. We couldn't even imagine big data until we got the computational capability to do it. Well, it's here. We are now able to slice through data with trillions of data points instantly. This is very powerful. It's very powerful on many levels. Just take commerce, for instance, just take retail, for instance. If you have a company like Walmart who can analyze all of the shopping data for customers across their 6,000 locations nationwide, every one of those customers' data can be analyzed on the fly. What's being purchased, what's popular, what's trending, all of this can happen on the fly. So 5 years ago, this was amazing. Everybody's getting into the big data space. Everybody wants their data managed and analyzed and have reports spit out that say the things they want them to say. This is great. Big data is cool, I think. But then you start to get into something they call an algorithm. Algorithms weren't previously as accessible as they are now because algorithms are very processor intensive. It takes a lot for an algorithm to work at scale. Now, algorithms have always worked locally without too much complexity. An algorithm could be something as easy as a motion detector, little things that are predictable. Algorithms have been around for a long time with that type of stuff. But now algorithms became so powerful. Why? Because they could instantly slice through trillions of data points to find the relevant data. So an algorithm now becomes very popular. Amazon says, let's create an algorithm that helps us understand spending patterns and habits on a daily, hourly, minute, second basis. And let's use that data to formulate plans and deploy initiatives. This is all very cool. Being able to have all the data, warehouse it somewhere, and then have machines powerful enough to slice right to the core of trillions of data points to find the golden nuggets of data that we need to innovate and be successful in business. Amazing.
In simple terms, is algorithm a recipe?
Algorithm is a recipe. It's perfect. Absolutely. Algorithm takes 10 different factors and outputs customized relevant data to your needs. So all of those Walmart transactions, you can create a recipe and say, I'm Walmart. I would like to know these 5 things about all transaction data every hour. And then boom, release that algorithm into the world. And the user had requested to receive a report every hour of how something's trending in certain sales. This algorithm will just run continuously using the power of today's modern computation to slice through trillions of data points and get you just the most relevant information. So algorithms are helpful. They're amazing. Your HVAC system uses an algorithm to understand predictable weather patterns and stuff. I mean, algorithms are super helpful. But then we get to AI, and it all starts to both skyrocket exponentially and become incredibly dangerous at the same time. Because now not only do people have access to data spanning trillions of data points and the computational power to create a recipe to harvest whatever they want instantly, but then to apply if-then logic and decision-making in those algorithms, it starts to open the doors to lots of things, both good and bad, right? And so now here we are in the AI era, where algorithms have been harnessed using plain language via AI. Not only are algorithms harnessed by using plain language and AI, but you can aggregate multiple algorithms and customize the output to what you need. This kind of power is staggering. This kind of power is staggering. If you can imagine the power of having big data available. So for instance, I don't know exactly how to wow you with these statistics, but please Google it yourself. But there's something like every literary tome that has ever existed has been fed into the internet. Every book, unless it was a private writing, every published book is on, the contents of every published book is online somewhere and accessible. The contents of every formula that we know of is online somewhere. The contents of our entire world's history is online somewhere. The contents of our entire culture and social media is online somewhere. Now, this all seems very vast, but all that stuff I just said is data. And if you're telling me that I can harness the harvesting and molding of that data instantly, you've now got a pretty dangerous animal. For instance, all of these things have aligned through AI to the extent that, did you know that ChatGPT just passed the bar exam and became a PhD? Now, how is this possible? Any human being with access to the internet could probably pass the bar exam, right? If you had the paper here and the internet here, and you were going down each question, you could probably Google and either plagiarize the answer or research till you got to it. ChatGPT, understanding plain language, was told to pass the test, and it knew enough to pass the test. This is just the beginning, because ChatGPT has access to everything. When I say everything, I mean every literary publishing ever, every bit of world history, every bit of social media, every bit of commercial information that's available online, every formula, every chemical formula, every known chemical interaction warning. It knows everything. So harnessed and packaged up for us, the user, is exciting, but scary at the same time. Let's go do some AI. Let's have some fun with AI. I recommend that if you are interested in dabbling with AI, oh, who put that clock up there? Al, you're the best, man. The clock is helpful. If you want to dabble with AI, I highly recommend. Well, let me back up a little bit. AI is now a space that is being monetized. Lots of companies are scrambling to monetize AI, and why not? Why not monetize it? I think lots of things are ripe for monetization. Look at the internet; it's monetized every which way. There's no corner you can turn on the internet without being offered to subscribe or buy something. AI is here, and companies are building windows into AI for us, because we can't access AI by ourselves on the internet. These engines are very complex, and they need to be housed somewhere, and they need to be given an interface. So companies like ChatGPT, and there's a bunch of them, you may have heard of Midjourney and all these, they're all competing to get you using them, just like Google and Yahoo did. You all remember that battle, right? Were you a Google person? Were you a Yahoo person? Google ended up winning that battle, but Google now basically owns search on the internet, right? Who is going to own AI on the internet? There's a battle going on right now. I happen to like ChatGPT, but you may find others like Midjourney, or you may find other experiences are better for you. Now, ChatGPT is just baffling to me. It's so simple but so complex at the same time. For instance, you get you land at this chat window, and here I am at ChatGPT, and I'm just going to type something here. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that there is no human on the other end of this chat. No person is reading your chat. This is the same thing as entering something into a Google search engine or whatever. There isn't a person over there. So I'm going to do something very practical for my first AI. I'm going to do a mail merge, because I don't know how. Well, I do, but if you didn't, I'm going to tell AI, I have a Word document set up like a letter. Now, I've never done this before, so if it fails, I'll have egg on my face, but I'm so confident in ChatGPT's abilities. Let's see what happens. I have a Word document set up like a letter. I have an Excel spreadsheet with a list of names. I need to merge the two. How do I do it? Okay, and then I'm going to hit enter here. Then I'm going to hit enter. Look what the power of algorithms and big data has done. Now, you and I both know that we can go search the internet and use the search term, how merge Excel Word, right? We could easily go to Google and do that. However, what do you get when you put something in Google? Millions upon millions of different search results, where the first 25 are probably all you'll look at. And will you even get to what you want in those first 25? Probably not. I simply ask this question of ChatGPT and look at this. Ensure both your Word and are saved and ready for use. Open Word, click on Mailings tab, start mail merge. It's a step-by-step list of exactly what I want. And then I'm going to say, how do I export to PDF? Because this might be a common question. Let's see. Pete is basically out of a job, folks. If you can go to ChatGPT and ask them this question, this succinctly, and get an answer that is step-by-step. Look at that. To export your document to a PDF file, follow these steps. Baffling. Let's go to a different topic. I'm going to go to new chat here. And I'm going to say, I am traveling to Israel.
Pete, back to your last one. If it might have given replies specific to Windows, so all you'd have to do is do another instruction to do Mac.
Oh, sure. Yeah, let me go back there. Where did that go? Word merge in Excel. Look, all the instructions are done. I left the chat. Folks, tune in if you're not tuned in. The instructions were done. I left the chat. I came back to the chat now, and this could be a week, this could be a month from now. Your chats are saved, and they're all segregated. This one is interested in my Word and Excel merge. Other ones that I have on my left column there are a bunch of other things. I'm just going to tell it, redo these instructions for Mac. And look at this. All the same instructions changed and now all relevant for using a Mac. What was I doing? I was doing a new one, right? And we were going to say, oh yeah, I am traveling to Israel. Is there anything I need to be aware of? Now, I'm not traveling there, but
You will do it virtually.
yeah. Yep, I can do it virtually. So it's giving me a list of things to do: personal safety, religion, religious tensions, health and safety, transportation. Cool. It gave me a lot of good advice here. Then I'm going to say, what are the top 10 restaurants people like in Israel? I mean, that's a big, oh, I didn't. What are restaurants I should visit in the capital? Look at that, making a list. Where is it getting this information, you might ask? Aggregating it from millions or billions or even trillions of data points that have been uploaded to the internet. So I've now got a list of the 8 restaurants that, where can I get good pizza? Wow. What language is spoken there? Now, how about this one? What offensive statements should I avoid? If there is an emergency, should I contact the embassy? Wow. Dial the emergency hotline such as 100 for police. I wouldn't have known all this stuff. Make sure you register with your company's embassy or a consulate in Israel. Look, as a novice traveler, just this 5 minutes I spent with ChatGPT has given me enough information to feel confident about at least doing more research and stuff. Look, you want to get nerdy? Let's get nerdy. Give me JavaScript code that asks user for their phone number. Random, I know, but look at this. This will produce computer code for you. And you can copy and paste that code into your project. So now I know Java if I have access to ChatGPT. I always like to open my chat window here and ask you, the audience here, would you like to try to accomplish something with ChatGPT? What do you think we should put in here?
Well, Pete, do you find you're using this more than Google or a lot, maybe as a very good supplement to Google on a day-to-day basis?
You know what? I really love that question because they're such different animals, you know? Like for instance, I had to write a visitor's guide to Nashville. Like that was an assignment that I had for my event planning that I'm doing. So they said, hey, write a know before you go document for the travelers who are coming into Nashville. I started at Google, which you think like, oh yeah, just go to Google, put in what's it, you know. But all the results that I got, it wasn't aggregated for me. It was just a bunch of websites with paragraphs of information that I could maybe copy and paste. And so, so to Google something is so much different than to engage in a chat about it with ChatGPT. So for instance, let's do it here at ChatGPT versus Google. I'm going to open a Google window because I love your question. It's so relevant to AI. So Google here, and I'm going to say here at Google, we have Google here and ChatGPT here, and I'm going to say, I need copy for travelers coming in to Nashville that welcomes them to the area. Okay, and when I type this into Google, you get just what you might expect. The Nashville Visitor's Guide. 39 best things to do in Nashville. Now, I'm going to say that same text, I'm just going to copy it from my Google window. I'm going to take it over to ChatGPT, paste it in, and let's look at the difference of what we get. On the left, you'll see ChatGPT is writing it for me. It is searching all of these websites that come up on Google for me. It's taking the most used and most relevant information based on user data, pulling it out for me and aggregating it here in a paragraph. Now, welcome to Nashville, Music City's vibrant and soulful heart as you embark on your journey. And it has all this cool stuff about Nashville. Now, I used this the other day to write one for my incoming travelers. However, this was like 8 paragraphs. It was too long. So I told it to summarize this in 1 paragraph. Look at that. It's doing all the rewrite for me. It's taking all the most relevant things and putting them all together in just the 1 paragraph. Now, folks, this is what I love about ChatGPT compared to Google. Now, Google, we're still clicking around and trying to find this information. With Chat GPT, as long as I'm in the same chat here, I can ask it, look, I'm going to say, make this in the context of a meeting hosted by HP. Now, look, I'm just using plain language. I'm not programming here. Make this in context of a meeting hosted by HP. The meeting is yearly, and it is called HP Connect. We are coming in on June 12th. Now I'm just talking to this person. Now it's not a person, it's very scary AI, but I'm just going to hit enter here. It's going to rewrite my whole paragraph around HP's yearly meeting, the annual HP Connect meeting. It's including that all in there. So I used this, I plagiarized some of it, but then I edited it to add my own things in here. And look, I can even say, my name is Pete. I am the host of the meeting. This message will be coming from me. Okay, so everything, all the work we've already done, it's going to take my latest statement, which is my name is Pete. I'm the host of this meeting. This message will be coming from me. I'm going to tell it that, and it is going to rewrite it in that context. It's now saying from the first person, I am thrilled to welcome you to Nashville. As your host, Pete is my privilege. You know, it's got all of the stuff relevant to me being the host. And the organization's leader, his name is Lauren. So I'm going to tell it that. The leader of our organization is named Lauren Woodbury. It's now rewriting that in the context that I just gave it. So now it's going to add, together under the guidance of Lauren Woodbury, we will embark on a journey that blends innovation, collaboration. Absolutely remarkable. Now, please tell me, Mary, how long would it have taken you on Google with all of these search results to get to something similar?
Yeah, hours.
Insane, right? So the democratization of AI here has got everybody with all this power at their fingertips. I'm just going to go to a new chat and I'm going to say, I am a landlord in Solano County, California. I have a tenant that is 23 days past due on rent. What notice is appropriate to give based on local laws? Local laws is the key, because now ChatGPT is going to dig into Solano County and it's going to tell me all the information I would never probably get to hear. In fact, let me put that same question in Google over here and see what we get. Now, I would probably get frustrated and just walk away if I saw Google's results, because I don't know how to get my information from these big old websites. And look at this, folks. Some of them are sponsored, which just means this one just wants my money. This one just wants my, this one just wants my money. Okay, so let me go down here. Types of eviction notices. I don't know which one of these, but look at ChatGPT. Look at that. Told me exactly what to do step by step.
Pete, this kind of raises the issue of privacy in the sense, in the sense that if you say, I have a tenant named XYZ, you know, what can you tell me about them?
I do believe that it's restricted today to protecting privacy. So I don't think.
And you can already get that in Google.
Well, you can get some of it, but some of it they like you pay for things like if you
No, I mean, yeah, but that's, I mean, but that information is out there. That you can't unring that bell. That has nothing to do with ChatGPT.
Okay, but can you bypass, if you will, those places that make you pay for the data?
In ChatGPT, you're only paying if you get a subscription to like ChatGPT 4. You're not.
No, Oh, no, what I mean though, Ken, is like if you go to some of these identity places, they say, yeah, there's, 3 public documents about this person. You pay us and we'll tell you what they are. We'll chat the GPT, whatever it is, give it to you without making you pay to get the same information, which makes it, of course, much more.
Oh, I see what you mean.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think a lot of this stuff, like I'm on Spokeo right now. And for those of you who are unafraid of the internet, just go to Spokeo and type your name in. It's quite scary. But here I am, and it shows some information for me. However, look at a bunch of it is blurred. And that means that that's behind a paywall. And that will not be accessible to ChatGPT because this company keeps that behind a paywall. So I think your question would be like, can ChatGPT get around there and go access people's servers if they haven't given access to them? And the answer is no. ChatGPT can only access what is currently available out there. It can't infiltrate other servers and stuff. So yeah.
And there's lots of other tools out there that do that because again, that's based on public records. So don't just because it's great out here and they're just trying to make money off this service. It's not like they're trying to hide it or mask it. They want everybody to use it so they can make money, but don't think that your information isn't out there and readily available to those that want to get it.
And look, even teaching this class, it's a whole new thing for me now. Before I teach a class like this, I'll say, I am teaching this will blow you away. I'm teaching a class on AI for the end user. Please, I say please, look how nice, it's not even a person. Please give me the top 10 most important talking points in PowerPoint slide format. Look at this. This will now create my presentation for me. It'll tell me what I should put on each slide.
Holy cow.
So now it just wrote the presentation for me. And then I'm going to say add talking points to each slide. It's now going to go back and give me more talking points for each of those 10 slides that it gave me. And look how happy it is to do it. Certainly, if this was a company, you would get some disinterested creep on the other end who took a big sigh every time you asked for something. ChatGPT is here to serve. They're ready to go. Look, slide 1, introduction for AI end users. Welcome to the class. Explain the importance of understanding AI. What is AI? AI applications. So it's basically writing my presentation for me. Now, that is text-based AI. And I'm going to switch over. We've got a couple more minutes. I'm going to switch over to 2 more types of AI. One is image-based AI, and one is audio AI. So I'll take some questions about the text-based AI if you have them, and then let's switch.
Hey, Spev, while you were talking, I downloaded onto my phone the app ChatGPT, but and this we can take at the end. I'm getting stalled out on it, just even getting into it with things like welcome back and how to access and how to even get into it to use it. But that is a pretty basic question that I can take at the end.
Well, I'm glad you brought it up because it opens up a discussion I think is important to have right here before we depart and go to the other ones is ChatGPT made an app. But what you just saw there that I did is just a web browser. I did not download the app.
Oh.
ChatGPT is creating an app for only one reason, and that is that Apple's made it really easy for companies to charge people for stuff inside apps, right? When you're in an app and it says, sorry, you've reached your ChatGPT limit. Would you like to buy more for 99 cents? All you have to do is hit yes, and you're in. However, on the web, if you run out of credits or something, it wants your credit card number and all this stuff. So ChatGPT was eager to get an app out there. However, ChatGPT functions just as well on Safari, Chrome, any web browser you have. So for now, until you really decide if it's a tool for you and you really like it, I would just stick with a web browser for now and don't even download the app.
So
Make
you open up Safari and search for Chat GPT.
Yep, that's it. It's chat.openai.com. Chat.openai.com. And then that gets you to Chat GPT. And then I do encourage you to create an account there. So create an account, put your email address, your password, click the link in your email to verify, because it's very useful. And then I have a feeling they're going to start charging before long. They're going to start saying
they're starting to, on the app, they're starting to charge for 4.0, and then 3.5 is free.
I see. Okay. And by the way, 4.0 and 3.5, these are just iterations. Every time they iterate, it makes AI smarter. So 3.5 didn't have some of the capabilities that 4.0 had. Now, Elon Musk and other AI experts just released an open letter to the technology sector saying, stop your AI research. This is reaching a critical mass and it's becoming dangerous. Stop. People are not stopping. So we're just headlong into wherever this is taking us. But it is becoming dangerous that AI can now empower bad people to do big bad things, or it can be in control of things that we don't want it to be in control of. I usually tell people to do this, but I'm just going to do it for you. We are going to we are going to go to YouTube, and we are going to take a quick peek at a Boston Dynamics clip. Let me just show you. I'm going to open YouTube. Here's YouTube. And I'm going to go to Boston Dynamics. Now, we just did some Chat GTP, and it is very smart. And so now I'm going to take a look at what Boston Dynamics has up their sleeve. This is a robot that exists, created by Boston Dynamics. And this robot is completely autonomous. This robot has eyes. They're cameras, but it has eyes. And it is not penetrable. Its armor is not penetrable by bullets and stuff. So if you told this AI robot to apprehend somebody of a certain anything, it can do facial recognition and find out who you voted for in the last election. It can seize you based on your bodily makeup. Like, I'll just say, for instance, for me, you could program these minions to apprehend anybody over 250 pounds. And so me and some others on this call, you may never see us again. So it scares me to see this type of technology and AI at the level that it is today, because plenty of people have millions of dollars and a lot of time on their hands. It's just a matter of time before this is weaponized in some way. Now, you can't argue with AI. You can't pull out money and bribe it, or you can't reason with it. It's just going to complete its mission. This sounds like science fiction. What I just showed you is not science fiction, neither the text part or the physical robots. This is all today in real life. So I find it disturbing in a way that this type of thing could quickly spiral out of control. Okay, I want to take you to another AI. That's going to be this one. Okay.
So while you're getting there, the cost of using this going on the Safari, I mean, I heard you say a 3.5. I mean, so every time you make an inquiry is a cost, or?
Now, so far, I haven't paid anything for ChatGPT, but there is an upgrade to Plus down here. So let me click that and see what you get. On the free plan, you get available when demand is low, but not available when demand is high, standard response speed, and regular model updates. With the upgrade plan, which is $20 a month, you get availability even when demand is high, faster response speed, and priority access to new features. I've just stuck with the free plan for now, but as I use this more and more in my professional life, I'm almost ready to ask my employer to pay for a subscription for me, and I can justify that purchase because it's just so useful. Now, when I switch over to the image one, here's the image one. This one I have paid. I have my credit card connected, and I pay this one for training virtual imagery for me. So I'm going to show you a little bit of this now because we're switching from text AI to image AI. And if we go to images here, I'd just like to show you some of the images I've created. None of these images exist. These are all created by AI. Some of them are awful. Like this one is bad. And I'll just stay on this for a minute. You can see there's something weird going on with the teeth, and the eyes are just, there's a lot of weird stuff going on there. Same with this one. In AI imagery, one of the big giveaways is hands. Now this one isn't too bad. Let's see, that's a little weird. This one's not bad. Now this image doesn't exist, but that does appear to be me. Now this one, look at the eyes. Something terribly wrong has happened here. And so AI is not 100% reliable. It has its misses, but that's not bad. That is not a bad impression. So I'm just kind of showing you, as you upload images, you can have AI generate models of different people. Now here, let me go back to my model here again and see what else I've come up with. There have been a couple of photos that I found to be usable for my LinkedIn profile, let's say. Because I don't often get dressed up in a suit and have photographic lighting. So to have AI generate these for me was kind of nice. I can use these images. Now, some of them are terrible. Like I would never use this. The eye is all messed up. But some of them came out really nice that I would be willing to use as a profile picture or something like that. Now, how did we get here? How did I enable this website to create these images? Before I answer that question, I also want to go through and look at a couple of more really interesting uses. Here's another one of the LinkedIn, kind of the LinkedIn profile style. Now, AI, whether it be this image-based AI that I'm showing you now, or whether it be the text-based AI, or even the audio AI we'll look at in a second, relies heavily on input from the user. You have to prompt AI properly to get the results that you want. If you give AI terrible prompts, like let's just go back to ChatGPT, I'm sure we could ask our questions so poorly that AI would return a response, but it wouldn't be relevant to what we wanted because our question wasn't good enough. So you have to formulate your prompts well. And if you want to, you can tell AI that you are a certain type of person. Just to give you a for instance, explain like I am 5 years old. How does liquid nitrogen work? Because I put explain like I'm 5 years old, it's going to tell me in narrative. Imagine you have some water in a glass. When it gets really cold, it turns to ice, right? Well, liquid nitrogen is kind of like that, but even colder, right? It's explaining like I'm 5. And I'm going to write now re-explain like I am a chemist. It's now going to change its explanation to something very, very technical. So in 1 second, I've received both the explain like I'm 5 narrative and the very complex explanation like you would explain to a chemist. What this is an example of is my prompts are important because they're soliciting a certain response. And so be careful with your prompts. In imagery, it's super important to be careful with both your positive prompt, what you do want to see, and your negative prompt, what you don't want to see. So for this particular website, and this is called Leap, the web address is tryleap.ai, tryleap.ai. I highly recommend you make an account here and upload some photos of yourself, because not only will you get an attempt at traditional photos, right? Like you see here, I've got a few people like my son, for instance. I put a few photos of him up there, and we've got these pretty nice photos of him. Some aren't great, but others are pretty cool. My wife, she asked for one of these to perhaps make a LinkedIn profile. So I put some pictures of her in there, and it's doing its best to generate a photo of her. But you can also tell it things like, create an image of me in the style of, you can say, I want it to be in the style of I did a movie poster. I think I did like an action movie poster or a Victorian living room. I told it to give, let's see, Victorian living room, person in black and white, volumetric lighting. I gave it all this prompt to get these almost elegant looking photos. So the different prompts that you give it will give you back different results. Now, the negative prompt is stuff you don't want to see. I don't want to see out of frame, low res, errors, poor quality, poorly drawn hands, all this stuff. And if you get your prompts right, you will get some incredible images. Now, I'm going to show you just a few more of these images that I've generated using some prompts like this one. This prompt was a psychedelic portrait of the person with vibrant colors, detailed cinematic, you know, all this stuff. So what I got was some very cool and fun AI images. Because my prompt was so specific, I was able to get, you know, just some cool artsy images like that. Let me show you one or two more prompts here. They don't always work very well. Like here's one. I said, I want to be in a space station in Star Wars style. Now this one isn't so bad. I've got like some futuristic uniform on there, and it appears to be some sort of starship in the background, so that's not bad. But AI sometimes falls apart. Like this one, also not too bad. This one, I don't see any evidence of a Star Wars style other than my eyes are really messed up. This one put me with another woman. My wife did not like this very much, but I don't know why AI thought this was anything to do with Star Wars. This one's pretty cool. It's got some greebles and different things. So the prompt you entered, check that one out, little Elon Musk. In fact, I'm going to save this. I don't think I've saved that one. That's pretty cool. So now you have all these different results based on the prompts you gave. But you get mixed results. They're not always sound results. Some of them are really strange. I'll show you one more example. I asked it to show me as a news anchor. So Pete as a news anchor in a news studio. I got some pretty nice things here. Some of these are fairly believable and interesting to see me in a little news studio like that. So what you do at tryleap.ai is you make yourself an account. And I think some people did this. Please chime in if you did it and you had some results. You upload your images, and you can upload as many as you want. And you create your your AI model, and you tell it what kind of images you want it to spit out, and it does. Lots of fun. My daughter did it here. My son did it. My wife. I have some coworkers who asked me to create them some images. The next one is audio, and that's 11 Labs. Here's the website here. It's called 11 Labs. Before I go, is any questions about Leap, about the image AIs? If you look on LinkedIn, let me see, let's pull up my LinkedIn here. It may be cheating, but my LinkedIn profile picture is AI. AI generated this image of me, and I think it's just perfect for LinkedIn.
Can it generate emojis?
Yeah, AI can generate anything. Emojis, flying dogs, sea otters in outer space. You can put anything in your prompt, and that's what you'll get. So
I have a question.
Oh, sure.
On Leap, how do you add additional photos after you want to add another person? I don't see the prompt inside of images.
Yeah, I'll show you. Here I am at the Leap website. I'm just going to go to the home page. You know, I'm just going to go back to the start.
Okay.
And then I'm going to go in my image tab here. And this is my image tab, which basically has all my generated images. And then over here in models, you'll see on the left side, it'll show models. I'm going to click on models. Now I have a lot of them. My cousin has one, you know, I've done a lot. I'm just going to click on one of my models here, which is this one. Oh, wait, that one doesn't have any, this one, sorry. Now you can see when I click on my model, it's going to show all the images I've uploaded. They're all here. It's showing them to me. In the upper right of this little
Okay.
window, I have a button to upload additional samples. So if I click that, it will allow me to put more
Okay.
images. Yeah. And the more the better, really, because it
Okay.
needs every angle of view. So if you can upload lots of images, I think I've about 100 now images of me that it can use to generate my photo.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. I know you were trying it, and I remember the problem you had was I think you closed it out after one image. Did you end up generating any, or
I
did
didn't finish that. No,
Okay.
I went on to, or I went back to some of the text AI
see.
and so on. Thank you.
Now, you're welcome. This is quite scary. I'm going to make sure that I am sharing computer sound. So share sound. Okay, that is turned on. It's called 11 Labs. You can go to beta.11labs.io. Hopefully that'll get pasted in the chat there. And all you have to do is feed it a voice file. Now, that's why it's scary, is because the type of voice file you can feed it, and I'll just stop sharing here for a moment, is what I did was without my wife knowing, without my wife knowing, I just opened the voice recorder app on my phone. You all have it already. You don't even have to download it. It's already on there. And when we were having a conversation, I just recorded some of her talking. Once I had that file, I went over to 11 Labs and I uploaded. It was only about 30 seconds of her talking. And once it was loaded in here, and I'm just going to do my own. She asked me to take hers out, which I did. I'm very compliant. But here's my voice. I uploaded mine. What I'm going to do is go back to ChatGPT, and I'm going to get my Welcome to Nashville narrative that I created here, and I'm going to copy it from ChatGPT. Remember earlier I told it to give it from my perspective. My name is Pete. I'm the host of this meeting. This message will be coming from me. So now I just copied that text that I generated over in ChatGPT, and I'm going over to 11 Labs. I'm going to paste it there. Wait, why didn't I copy? Sorry, let me try that again. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to go back to 11 Labs and paste it there. Now, because I uploaded a small sampling of my voice.
Dear colleagues and friends, I am honored to welcome you to Nashville, the vibrant and soulful.
Here, it's generating. I did quite a bit of text, so it's taking just a moment. But I'm going to make a voiceover. I'm going to make a video for people coming in to connect, and it's going to have imagery in the background, and my voice is going to be in the foreground. It's going to be narrated by me. Now, recording my voice while I'm recording video and trying to get the audio correct and stuff is not easy to do. But since I have this tool here, what I'm going to do is paste my text in here that ChatGPT wrote for me, and I'm going to go back and just listen to that.
Dear colleagues and friends, I am honored to welcome you to Nashville, the vibrant and soulful backdrop for this year's highly...
Or not. Let me fix I think my audio is still coming out of my Oculus headset. So I'm just going to go in and change that to my speaker. There we go. Now, I pasted my text in from ChatGPT. I've got my voice AI model here. Let's rock and roll.
Dear colleagues and friends, I am honored to welcome you to Nashville, the vibrant and soulful backdrop for this year's highly anticipated event, HP Connect. As the host, Pete, on behalf of our esteemed leader, Lauren Woodbury, it is my privilege to extend a warm Southern greeting and set the stage for an unforgettable experience on June 12th. Together, under the guidance of Lauren Woodbury, we will embark on a...
Now, I'll stop there, but I only uploaded one small audio clip. Now, if I upload several, it'll fine-tune and make it even better. But I can make a whole voiceover that was written by ChatGPT, spoken by 11 Labs, and then used in a video.
Journey that blends innovation, collaboration, and the unique charm of Music City. Lauren's visionary...
I have different styles of speech that I can use here. There you can generate, I can change the language to Portuguese or French or Hindi or Italian if I want to. And then it'll speak that language.
Dear colleagues and...
Which I didn't do. I don't want to, takes a minute to process all that. I can change some of the settings of my voice, clarity and similarity enhancement. I'm just going to crank that up. Stability, let me try that.
Friends, I am honored to welcome you to Nashville, the vibrant and soulful backdrop for this year's highly anticipated event, HP Connect.
Hey, Pete,
Uh-huh.
you say it can do different languages, but it attempts to do a different language, but literally in your voice.
Yes, the language
Can
will
you
be spoken.
give us a sample, maybe something like Japanese or something.
Yes, I believe so. Let me see if I can just generate a shorter clip there. I'm going to do that. Multilingual, yes. And I'm gonna. Okay, and then I'll generate that. Wait. Dear colleagues and friends, I am honored to welcome you to Nashville. Okay, that, and then where is? Dear colleagues and friends, I'm honored to welcome. It's not letting voice lab. Here's all my voices. Use. I can edit, and by the way, while I'm here, this is how I would edit my voice and upload more. But I can't. I don't know if they have it disabled, Al. It would be
Okay.
nice. But I'm in here and I've selected it, but
I'll have to go explore.
yeah, please do. I don't know. Usually it just comes up. Maybe I put wait, if I put in French. I don't know if this is how to. In French, dear colleagues and friends. No, I didn't. So no. But yes, it has all those languages. Let me see, which one does it have right now? English, German, Polish, Spanish, Italian, French, Portuguese, and Hindi are the available languages now up there. One more thing I'll just show you while we're on that. I know it's late. Sorry, I always go over. You can also change it to whatever voices you want. Here's my son. He gave me a voice sample and we were able to make his voice. So in French.
In French, dear colleagues and friends, I am honored to welcome you to Nashville, the vibrant and soulful
It was changed to my daughter. I have her in here as well, so we can generate her text. So any of these different voices.
In French, dear colleagues and friends, I am honored to welcome you to Nashville.
So in this huge long 3-hour thing, which I requested to go till 7 p.m., but they wouldn't. Okay, yeah. We've talked about VR, the state of VR, consumer VR, the toy. Right now it's a $400 toy, plays games, not too much other than that. However, on Monday, Apple is going to unleash something upon the world. Hopefully you have a front row seat to see what it is that Apple shall wrought upon the technology sector. Really excited to see what that is. The rumors are that it's a VR, AR type of headset. I say no way. I'm wrong 100% of the time. Let's not break that streak. We looked at AI, the way it exists today. AI for the consumer is fun, trivial maybe, but AI for the world is fascinating, dangerous, exhilarating, fun, horrible, all at the same time, especially when you think about the mechanical beings that are being created by companies like Boston Dynamics. Couple that mobility with AI and some really good things could happen and some really bad things could happen too. Imagine a patrol of those AIs in the forest and they're out there to protect from bears. And they herd bears and chase bears away from society. There's so many amazing applications of things. Yes, Skynet is absolutely right. What happens when AI becomes aware of itself and decides it doesn't want to be shut off? There's a lot of ramifications here. So AI could tell those robots to guard the server that they need to access to shut it off. It's crazy. In the next 10 years, I promise you, we will see utter chaos as wrought by this AI, but I'm here for it. We have a front row seat. I want to thank you all so much for letting me go over here. I'm very sorry, but thank you all so much for the time today. It is my favorite group to be in front of here, MacNexus. And I'll anytime I'll be back soon as I'm invited. Happy to go through and do the topic of your choice. What should be next? Anybody have any ideas? What do you want to see next?
You're on for next month, right?
Am I?
Yes, I'm
Yes.
gone.
Yes, you are.
Well,
Let's see what Apple introduces. I'm sure there'll be plenty to talk about between now and then.
I got to give you a little chuckle about this, and that is Bob White. God bless him. I'm a huge fan of Bob. Bob and I have been pals since day one, but he is responsible for getting me to give him the copy for my meetings, right? What am I going to talk about? And I'm awful at it. So I owe Bob flowers, chocolates, pizzas, beers, whatever you like. Because he's like, Pete, we're 2 weeks away. We're 1 week away. We're 1 day away. We're 1 hour away. I need that. Well, guess what, Bob? With ChatGPT on my side, I will never be late with my copy again because ChatGPT is just going to write it for me. Hey, I'm doing a class.
La la.
Bob needs copy. I need 1 paragraph. What are we doing? And I'll just send that right over to you, Bob. I won't be late again.
And speaking of artificial intelligence, Bob White, we wish you a happy birthday on Monday.
Woohoo!
Hey, I hope a present comes your way from Tim.
Never can tell.
Yep. So thank you again. If you have any questions, I'm happy to stick around for a little longer and answer. I probably fatigued the heck out of all of you. It's been 3 hours and 16 minutes. You're always welcome to reach out to me, PeteLozzi@gmail.com, PeteLozzi@gmail.com. If you have any questions or you get stuck anywhere, you need my guidance or help, happy and willing to give you that nudge that you need. And I'll see you next month. And like somebody said, between now and then, we'll see what kind of chaos Apple has wrought onto the world, and we'll figure out. I will have that new headset beside me next month if it is if it's a real thing. So we will talk about it then.
Pete, it'll be next month and the month after. You're the next 2 Saturdays.
Woohoo!
So
You are the best.
that's 6+ hours of Pete.
Yeah.
And I'll try log in from Africa and the Danube to try be there so I can see it. Oh, and look at this barbecue.
Oh man, look at that.
A little plate. I'm going to microwave that and get my cholesterol count up.
Was that 3D printed?
No. But it was dropped off on the doorstep a while ago.
Virtual reality.
Thank you, Pete.
Thank you.
Good job,
Thank
Pete.
you.
Did a great job.
Go on, Power Mac.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Appreciate all
Thank
of you.
you.
We'll see you next month. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Al, make sure you've got the chat
Got it.
saved.
We're good.
All right.
Great class. My brain is exploding.
See everybody in a bit. I will end the meeting.
I'm gone.